Eat like a king who's on a budget. 3 tasty options, fries, drink, and nuggets. All for $5. Wait, that can't be right. Just confirm that that's the real price. BK, have it your way.
Welcome to a special episode of LeatherBrainz and FantasyBrainz. I am your host, SlapDawg, and I am joined by a very full crew here today. If you just tuned in and watched our previous episode, I had to do a quick wardrobe change because now we are going to provide you all with a fantasy football draft. This is the official LeatherBrainz 2025 redraft draft for fantasy football, and we have a lot of the LeatherBrainz and FantasyBrainz team here to join us in this draft. Now, like I mentioned, this is LeatherBrainz and FantasyBrainz, so I'm going to turn this over to my good friend and other host of our other sector of our business asset, being MK, to discuss FantasyBrainz. Buddy, welcome in. Thank you for setting this up. Excited to do this with you today.
Yeah, thanks for the intro, SlapDawg. Excited to get to this draft. We're going to start this thing in a couple minutes here, but shout out to everyone who was able to hop on the StreamYard today with us. Got Charlie, got Alan, Scotty, not SlapDawg, and then we got Gabe as well hopping in. So a lot of people on here today, a lot of analysis, and a lot of different perspectives that I'm excited to talk about. So, just to start off, let's go over kind of the settings of this league. It's going to be a 10-man full PPR format. We're going to be starting a pretty hefty lineup here. We're going to be going with one quarterback, not super flex. This was changed last minute because I think, we can all agree super flex is a little bit more of a dynasty play. We all like to go with a little bit more of a one quarterback strategy, makes the draft a little bit more interesting. But we're going to be starting.
Alan, I don't want to interrupt you here, but Alan had actually let me know prior to us recording that you were afraid of the LeatherBrainz team and our Superflex strategy. So that's why we changed pace on the draft format.
Scared.
That's what I heard. Rumor has it.
I'm not going to completely deny that I wasn't a little bit scared of the Superflex draft, knowing that I think I have a little bit more experience in the one quarterback. But hey, I mean, at the end of the day, whatever the decision was, I'm just here to draft and have a good time like we all are. And, it's so exciting with the season starting and a week from week and 2 days from now, 9 days from now, we got the season starting, Cowboys, Eagles. So very, very excited to just be in the drafting season, drafting almost every single night, helping people with their drafts. And it's just the best time of the year where we've all been waiting the entire summer for this to start. But like I mentioned before, it's going to be a pretty in-depth starting lineup here. We're starting a quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 receivers, a tight end, and 2 flexes. So very big starting lineup. There's a lot of different ways you can go with your team. This isn't your ESPN draft where you're only starting 2 running backs and 2 receivers and 1 flex. So excited to see a lot of strategies that are going to go on here. And I know the draft's about to start. So, Gabe, you're going to be picking here at number 1. Walk us through your first selection, because in my opinion, there's a couple different guys that you could take at this pick.
Yeah, absolutely, Kahan. First of all, you gotta talk some more smack. I mean, FantasyBrainz, man. That's all we do is make some fantasy content. I'm not worried about LeatherBrainz, but in this league here, it's different because I think usually I go for a pretty heavy running back strategy. But because we have so many players, 2 flex spots, 2 running back spots, 3 wide receiver spots, I think I want to go a little bit more balanced with my draft and the number 1 overall pick. So we're going to see what it looks like. But
it's time. It's time. 7:15 is the kickoff time central. The other members of the LeatherBrainz and FantasyBrainz team that were not able to make it for the camera are here in the draft room. They are drafting live. So while they might not be able to give their analysis, we will kind of be breaking down some of their thoughts and attempt to break down their thoughts and kind of give our takes on where they think that they've picked at. So they're with us, but they're not here right now. And my phone is blowing up saying, when are we getting this thing started? People are itching to go. So let's kick this thing off, Gabe. I'm going to start the draft here, and you are on the board, my friend.
First overall pick, I'm taking Jamar Chase. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. He scored 403 points last year, second most ever for a wide receiver. So I like his upside this season, and his floor is pretty safe.
Yeah, I feel like in a 3 wide receiver league, Jamar Chase has to be the pick. If you're looking again at like an ESPN standard league, then I feel like you can give more consideration to some of the running backs, but you got to go with Jamar Chase and how good the Bengals offense is. You can't fool Gabe on this one. He's been prepping for this draft. Rumor has it that he skipped out on his shift at work today to actually prep for this draft and figure out who he was taking at this number 1 slot. So definitely not surprised that he came in with the right pick.
Yes, sir.
Skipped work to prep.
Not skipped, but had to call off. Had to take care of some things today.
Yeah, respect.
It took a lot of thought to figure out Jamar Chase should be the 101.
TikTok, Alan.
I come from old school drafts. I always take running backs. I love running backs. I got to take running backs. I think my strategy in this is like, yes, it is 3 wide receiver league, but I think there are a lot of wide receiver options. I think your running back options dwindle rather quickly. And so honestly, whatever you did, I was just going to do the opposite. So if you took Saquon, I was going to take Jamar. And if you took Jamar, I was taking Saquon. So I'm going Saquon with this pick. Obviously, I hope that Jalen Hurts stops stealing his cookies at the goal line, but you got to own a piece of it. He's the best running back. One of the best, you could argue, but I would say he's the best, but he definitely has the best O-line, and that's what I want a piece of.
It's a great pick right there.
Alan, I'm so on board with your analysis with like the running backs in a 10-man league. You really got to go running back because they're going to dry up way quicker. Like I think in a 12-man, I would definitely be taking CeeDee Lamb at the 3rd overall pick, and Bijan is my RB or like was my RB1. And he's still up, but like, oh my God.
Okay, so if I'm being honest with
tackles.
You, I have a spreadsheet that I use that I have pieced together from random things, and I have Bijan actually graded 2nd behind Jamar, but I had to go Saquon.
Right? I think
I wanted Saquon.
Okay. I'm taking Jahmyr Gibbs it's PPR, so I'm comfortable taking Jahmyr over Bijan especially in a PPR format. And then just with the 10-man, I feel like I got to go running back. I want to take the high end. And with Bijan and his tackles being injured, it's a sad sight to see. We might not get to see that electric season out of Bijan that everyone was just hoping for. And so let's see if Gibbsy can repeat.
Man, you got nervous a little bit, little jitters.
That's a risky pick. I mean, it's not a risky pick, but there's a lot of different guys you can go in that range. Like one of those 3 running backs is going to be probably a lot better than the other 2. So I feel like you I think Allen put it even more risky going with Barkley. Wow, Jefferson goes 4. I mean, I don't think it's that surprising, but I feel like, with the hamstring injury that's been reported through training camp, that Lamb and Bijan here are definitely safer picks. And me sitting here at 6th overall, I felt pretty good getting these 2 players now. But SlapDawg, who are you going to take here?
I mean, it's Bijan's still on the board, and that is very enticing. But what comes to mind for me is the 3 wide receivers. I mean, this is a 3 wide receiver league where there's a lot of value in owning high-end wide receivers, and CeeDee Lamb is looking mighty juicy. I do think there is a very valid argument that CeeDee Lamb could finish as the wide receiver 1 this year. And so for me, it's between those 2 guys, and it's how do I want to structure my team. Now, I will admit I am in quite a few fantasy leagues, but I haven't drafted at the 105, so it makes it kind of interesting here because usually I'm at the later end of my draft, and I kind of have a little bit idea of as far as what I'm going to be able to land in later round drafts, and I also know that I'm playing with some savants here that actually know ball, so that makes it a little bit more interesting too, because some of those later round guys that you guys have talked about on your show, guys that you guys have highlighted on all of our social medias, those are some of those guys that I know are considered a reach as far as ADP is concerned, but as far as what you guys have in your mentality and consensus on some of these players, I think we're in an agreement with a lot of that. So for me, I think I don't own any shares of Bijan in any of my leagues, and I think today is the day I do that. So I really want to take CeeDee Lamb. I'm not going to go CeeDee. I'm going to take Bijan.
I like that.
It's like he talked himself out of it.
Yeah,
I did.
totally.
Yeah. No, can't hate on that pick. I was about to say I won the league if I got Bijan at 6th overall, but that's my number 1 player right there. If I had the number 1 pick, I would have taken him. But I love CeeDee a lot. I think he's going to have – I honestly just echo everything that you said, when you were talking about him. 2023, he was the receiver 1 on the season. His season in 2023 was identical to what Jamar Chase did last year. Mm-hmm. And so in my eyes, like there's a little bit of recency bias to where Lamb finished it kind of in the border line of the top 10 last year, where he finishes the receiver 8. And I think people were a little bit lower on him because Jamar had such a good season. But, healthy Dak, Cowboys defense is looking trash, especially if they don't pay Micah Parsons, which means that we could see a 2024 Bengals situation with them. Maybe not to that magnitude, but I think when you look at the board right now, CD is clearly the best player available. I think, maybe you consider Christian McCaffrey if you want to go with that high risk, high reward play, but I don't think you can get away from the upside with Lamb here, especially in a 3-receiver league.
Yeah, I think the only thing that would scare me off of that is Dallas's pass blocking is less than ideal, I would say, and Dak can be erratic.
It's bad.
Oh yeah.
Is it? I don't know.
It's not great.
It's buns. I think CD is going to be good. I actually think the Cowboys are going to be better, generally speaking, especially given how far they fell last year. I think we all forget how dominant they've been in recent years, especially during the regular season. Like CD very well could be the wide receiver 1 this season, like no doubt about it.
And with the addition of George Pickens there, I think that actually benefits CD in a lot of ways too, because he doesn't have to be a one-man show. And George Pickens, while not being a wide receiver 1 as far as the team is concerned, is still a very viable option, and a very efficient wide receiver. So he's a threat for defenses, and I think that could honestly help CD as well.
Yeah, he's
Scotty, man, how do you feel about having the worst pick in the draft right here?
It feels pretty bad. Feels pretty like all the tier 1 guys gone. Like we're now into the tier 2, and now it's like, okay, do I want to play it safe or do I want to do something fucking stupid? And I think I might want to do something
Kyle Pitts.
I'm not that stupid. Not yet anyway.
Kyle Pitts.
No, I think
PPR,
my safe pick.
Henry.
My safe pick is Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think that there are a lot of people who are skeptical about the Lions, think they're going to take a step back. I think that's stupid. I think they're still the second best roster in the NFL next to the Eagles. I think they're going to be a Super Bowl contender. I think they're going to put up a lot of points. There are a lot of mouths to feed in the offense, but I think Amon-Ra is a real safe bet. But I also think that like we said at the beginning of the draft, the running backs just dry up so fast. So you look at people like CMC and Derrick Henry, and it's like, well, that's pretty enticing, even though, high risk, high reward. But I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to do something crazy, and I'm going to draft Christian McCaffrey.
I really thought you were going to take Kyle Pitts here.
Nope,
quite the disappointment. It's Kyle Pitts or no matter what.
This is going to be a really dumb pick or a great pick.
That was
more
nice.
likely really dumb.
No, that's a good pick right there. I'm a pretty big fan of that pick. I mean, reports out of training camp right now are that McCaffrey's looking great. He's looking like his 2023 self. So there's obviously the injury risk there, but I think when you're at that pick, there's not really a right selection. So you go the running back route, and there's probably going to be a receiver there for you on the back end. But we get Puka Nacua and Amon-Ra 8 and 9 here. I think these are both pretty prototypical picks. Gabe, I'm curious your take on this. Out of the group that's Puka, Amon-Ra, Brian Thomas, Nico Collins, Malik Neighbors, who do you like most out of that tier? Because it's a pretty flat tier of all, I'd say, elite guys.
I love Nico Collins. I've been high on Nico for a little while, but I think people just continue to forget that like last season he was the wide receiver 1 at a certain point in Houston and in fantasy, and he got injured and came back and was still putting up wide receiver 1 numbers. I think he could finish as the overall wide receiver 1 with how if he has a similar season last year. So Nico's kind of my guy in this range. If not Nico, I lean towards Puka.
Is there any concerns as far as Nico Collins is concerned with the addition of the wide receiver room? And you look at the wide receiver room last year for the Texans, obviously Stephon Diggs and Tank Dell both went down. At one point in time, they were playing with a bunch of, second string wide receivers as their starters. Adding the likes of Jaden Higgins and Christian Kirk and their other rookie, is there a concern that Nico Collins might regress from a fantasy standpoint in your mind?
I don't believe so. I like actually some of the additions that the Texans have made on offense. And I think, when Tank Dell and Stephon Diggs were playing last year, like that's when Nico was at his best. They need other players on the field that are going to keep defenses honest. Because we saw maybe 2 years ago now towards the end of the season when Nico was kind of the only guy when Tank Dell went down. I mean, he was really struggling to score because defenses would just put a safety in his way. And And I don't think that a lot of NFL
line.
defenses have the luxury to do that this season with guys like Kirk and Higgins and a dynamic offense.
So kind of like maybe you're echoing maybe some similarities that I had presented with CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, where you think that, the addition of the players will actually benefit the player.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm with you. I'm with Gabe on this one for sure. I mean, that's Nico Collins is an alpha X receiver, 6'4", 200, like runs a 4.3. He could have a monster season, and CJ Stroud could throw for 4,000 plus. But RJ here, our graphics guy, graphic designer for the Baltimore Orioles, so definitely go check that out. Some of his work, but he goes back-to-back running back here, Derrick Henry and Ashton Genty. Charlie, what's your take on this player right here? Because I know you kind of like, or you like Genty a lot, but you're not on Henry this year.
Yeah, RJ is feeding me the live thoughts on his draft picks. He's loving staying in Baltimore, getting to go to some Ravens games, so he wants to ride Derrick Henry. Even though for me that's way too early. I mean, we're in a PPR 10-man league, and we're gonna take a 30-year-old guy. He might be. I think he's 31 at this point for this year.
Yeah, he's 31.
We're gonna take a 31-year-old running back at the top 10. It's just a lot of draft capital to put in that basket that I'm not so comfortable with.
Yeah, no, I totally feel that. I think Henry is definitely a reach here because you can definitely start here. Again, we talked about 3 receivers and 2 flex options. It does raise the value of receivers. So
but the running backs are going fast. Like it's not there aren't. Achane is injured right now, so he's a tough guy to take off the board. And so like we're gonna get to the 3rd round, and if like Yeti, for instance, he might not have a running back if he goes another wide receiver here. So we'll have to see what he does in a couple picks.
Yeah, no, I'd say there's you can kind of go any direction here. I mean, there's a lot of running backs in this next tier with, I think HN, you still got to take him. I mean, reports are that he hasn't any setbacks in the past few days, or
I just don't trust it.
Yeah, like what are they gonna? I don't know. It's tough for them to report otherwise, at least in my opinion.
I guess it is. There he goes, right there. I think that's the right pick, though. I mean, when you compare him to any of the other running backs, yes, it's possible he misses week 1, but all reports right now are saying that he's not.
See, and this is where I would take Malik Neighbors over Achane, and Malik Neighbors goes next by Yeti, so it goes Achane and then Neighbors. I'm really high on Neighbors this year, and I really like this pick by Yeti. I think they're, obviously we know what the Giants are projected to be, and it's not great. However, I'd also like to showcase last year and what Neighbors did last year with a worse quarterback. And, obviously Daniel Jones had left halfway through the season, and then it was, he was playing with backups and still producing at a high level. I don't think Russell Wilson is a great answer, and I've been on record, and I stand by the fact that I think Jackson Dart will be the starter for them at week 5. But I love Neighbors. I love what he can do, and the fact that they're going to be so bad that they're going to be playing offense and playing from behind quite a bit. I'm very high on Neighbors this year.
Scotty Del Rey.
My personal opinion, I would have taken Collins over Neighbors. I agree. I think, the offensive production for some of those weapons, I use the word weapons lightly, except for about Neighbors in that offense. It's going to be there for fantasy because they need offense, right? They're going to be behind in every single game. But ultimately, I think that the Texans' entire offensive unit is going to take a big step forward. We saw what they were 2 years ago. They dealt with injuries last year. They couldn't keep anybody healthy. The offensive line was shit. It's all going to be moving in the right direction. You're going to see Nico Collins jump back and be an elite wide receiver in 2025.
Absolutely.
I like it. And I think that was by far the best pick on the board. I mean, maybe go Brian Thomas there. But now I'm in this predicament right now.
I wonder what KN will do. CeeDee Lamb and who else?
I got CD and now it's like Brian Thomas is staring at me, and it's now in my main league. I have both of them as my 2 best players, and it's like, do I want to double up here? I might. I think that could be a good strat going back-to-back receiver, but like you guys mentioned, I believe in the talent that there is at the receiver position this year, and I've been sticking to, in 10-man formats, a pretty strict strategy of how I'm kind of judging how I draft. And usually it's within the top 3 to 4 picks, but I am very strong this year on getting an elite tight end or an elite quarterback, because there are only 3 tight ends, in my opinion, that are truly elite and 2 quarterbacks. And I think that in a 10-man league, we might have more starters, but I think that you really have to try to get an elite guy. So I'm going to go with Brock Bowers here.
I like that pick a lot, Kahan.
Oh my gosh. I was kind of hoping he was going to fall to me because now I'm in a predicament that I don't like being in. I have Brian Robinson. There's a 3 wide receiver league. And so I'm really focused on wanting to get a wide receiver. Now, the issue that I'm faced with is Drake London's sitting there. I like Drake London a lot, but do I want to pair 2 Falcons players together? And that's where it really starts to get murky for me. And obviously, Brian Thomas is still there. I was having this conversation earlier today about Brian Thomas. And for me, I have concerns. And it's not concerns that he's not a great wide receiver, but it's concerns of what is going to happen here. Travis Hunter is really the name that comes to mind to me. Do we see Travis Hunter be an elite wide receiver 1 for this team, which Brian was last year, or is there a world in which both of these can live together? And then as we progress through this draft, the conversation is then going to become, is Trevor Lawrence viable? Because if we're projecting both Brian Thomas and Travis Hunter to be these elite upper echelon wide receivers, what does that say about your quarterback? And so for me, I look at this and I'm concerned because I'm not a Trevor Lawrence believer, and I know you are, MK. I'm not. And, we expect this team to get better with Liam Cohen there. So I'm kind of pigeonholed because I really don't want to take Brian Thomas, but I feel like I'm going to have to, just given where the ADP's at, where the talent's at, and how my roster's starting to build out. I do have concerns about some regression there with Travis Hunter in the mix, but it's really hard for me to look at him and not want to take him. And then there's AJ Brown, and he's another guy that I'm kind of between those 2 right now. So, and I do have Drake London a little bit higher, but once again, I don't want to put all my eggs in the basket of the Falcons. I was talking myself into Brian Thomas, but I'm going to take AJ Brown.
Wow. Oh, I don't know about that one. I get what you're saying with the Jags receivers. I don't know. Brian Thomas, to me, I'm not worried about him at all. I think he goes at the perfect price. He's an elite receiver. I think there's more than enough targets to go around for both him and Hunter to have a good season. I would have gone Thomas there. I think I understand why you pass on London because you don't want the double Falcons stack, but I just don't know if I can take AJ Brown that high over some of those guys. Like I like AJ Brown just like the next, but I can't see it personally.
What you should have done is taken Drake London and then in the 3rd take Kyle Pitts and then just set the auto draft and then
in the 4th take Michael Penix Jr.
Yeah, just put it as your next available, best available.
Yeah,
and be out.
It's a very interesting draft so far. I mean, at this point, Brian Thomas is, I would say, falling, maybe a couple picks here. Gonna be like I said, in my eyes, a pretty big steal towards the end of the 2nd round here.
Yeah, he's gonna keep falling if he doesn't go here.
Yeah, but I think Brian Thomas concerns are super viable. I think last season with Trevor Lawrence, he only averaged about 15 points per game and skyrocketed when Lawrence wasn't playing. And Liam Cohen's a slot guy. Chris Godwin had his best season. Cooper Kupp won the Triple Crown playing the slot with Liam Cohen. And if Travis Hunter's in that slot position in Jacksonville, I think there are some real concerns about Brian Thomas.
So the only thing I was going to say, because I've heard a lot of people talk about the slot thing. Brian Thomas, like what we've seen out of the preseason so far,
on tilt, bro. Hey, shut up for a second. Just shut up. Stop talking. Why did he do that? I didn't think that was going to happen.
I didn't think so either. I always thought that was going to fall to me.
No, I was going to rip Drake London so fast. Yeah, him ahead of Brian Thomas for sure. And like him having Jefferson and with these running backs. Okay, well, I'll take Brian Thomas, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that's value. You're going to have to do that. Oh, now I'm left with a shit sandwich that I don't know how I want to eat.
Sorry, Ken, what were you trying to say?
Derailed KN's analysis for Charlie's temper tantrum.
Yeah. I'm just saying, Brian
like
Thomas
a child
play in the slot. That's all I'm saying.
We're just
He's going to be great, guys. He's going to be great.
Hunter played 6 snaps.
I think for the viewers out there, what we've seen through the preseason and through just snaps in practice is that Hunter was around a 60% in the slot. Thomas was like a 30 to 35. And I think like there's another guy like Diami Brown or Parker Washington also got in the mix a little bit. So all I'd say is that I think Thomas is still going to get snaps in the slot as well. So personally, I'm not worried about it. I think he's going to eat the season.
I think so too. All right. Now I got to figure out what I'm going to do here because I'm going to get this pick back here in a second. I'm going to take somebody and I have them tiered out just between 2 Raiders and Bowers and Genty, but I'm gonna take him. AFC West guy. I'm gonna do it just because he's here and I want to take him anyways, and I wanted him, so I'm gonna do it.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Any analysis on that
He would
pick?
have made it back to you.
Probably, but I wanted him.
No, I was going to
Probably.
take him at the
Were you?
3-1, I think. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. See, I knew he was because if you look at how he's progressed through that team or through that season last year, and just the repetition with Herbert now, like I think you're going to see a lot of unlock of him of the short underneath. So I think he's going to be just a PPR king. Like he may not. I don't think he's going to get a ton of yards overall, but I think he's just going to eat in that middle of the field for Herbert, and that's what I wanted a piece of.
Is the Keenan Allen acquisition concerning to you at all?
Not at all. He should be hurt already if I check my watch.
Yeah, savage.
What about Trey Harris? I mean, obviously they were looking to do something at the wide receiver position because they brought in
Lambert Smith.
Like, does the Trey Harris thing scare you at all, Alan?
No, I mean, Ladd McConkey is a G. He is a dude. Like, and he's a white dude, so I think probably people are like, maybe not, but he's a dude, and I think he's just like I said, I think he's just going to be a receptions king this year with Herbert.
I don't disagree with that because Keenan Allen struggles to stay healthy every year, and I think alongside with that, he is aging, and that doesn't mean he still can't provide some value, but we typically see wide receivers at his age really start to decline quickly. So I think Ladd's a good pick.
For me here, I'm liking some of these running backs that are available for me, but I'm kind of fading Josh Jacobs this season. I think he's actually due to regress a lot in the Green Bay offense. I think Wright might have a slight role, and he had scored a ton of touchdowns last season, which I think is going to regress a little bit. So I'm actually going to go with Bucky Irving here at the 210. I really like Bucky's situation in Tampa Bay, and the reports from training camp and preseason are very clear in the fact that Bucky is the guy in Tampa Bay, and I expect him to have a very large snap share. And he's very capable of catching some passes. So I like Bucky in this offense. Even with Liam Cohen gone, I still think they can have a dynamic offense in Tampa Bay. And then I'm definitely going to reach on this next player, but he's probably the guy that I've been highest on all offseason.
Not a reach.
And it is going to be Chase Brown. I love Chase Brown. I think Chase Brown, he was third after week 8 last season. He was third in catches for fantasy behind HN and Gibbs. He was second in yards after the catch. He was kind of like a PPR monster. He finished third after week 8 in all of running backs. So I think Chase Brown is an excellent pick, and he keeps moving up in drafts, and
he's creeping up there.
Yeah, I would take him earlier. Like, I think he's that good. So yeah. I really, really like Chase Brown in fantasy this season. So much so that I took him with another Bengals player. Like, I love Chase Brown. I think he's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, it's a good pick right there. It's a little risky on with the double Bengals stack there. But Chase Brown actually right now has moved up to an ADP of RB8. So he actually goes right after, right basically where you took him, right after the HN Henry. So he's kind of the first running back right now that's going up the boards. And I mean, the Bengals offense is going to be so good that having guys going to get 80% of the touches or whatever it might be in that offense.
Yeah, they didn't bring anyone in. So
yeah.
Yep.
Now it is back to me. And I need to make a decision. This is always the tough part in the draft.
Do you want me to help you?
I'm not going to see this pick again for a while. And so I got to figure out how I want to play this. I'm probably going to wide receiver again.
Just take Tyreek Hill.
No, I'm not taking Tyreek.
Come on, man.
I'm not taking Tyreek. I'm actually just going to stay true to my list. He has I feel like his ceiling's high. Fuck. Where do I go tight end?
Trey McBride's just sitting there. Just 100 catches.
I'm between. All right, since we're talking about it out loud, I'm between two people. I like the setup for JSN. I don't like his quarterback. I like Trey McBride because
you love his quarterback.
I don't like his quarterback either.
But Lamar.
How much time do I got? All right. I'm just gonna
follow your heart, Alan.
Okay, I'm gonna follow my heart, and I'm gonna follow my list because I actually have Trey McBride listed one spot ahead of JSN, so I'm just gonna do it.
Okay. Wow. Good pick. Good pick. I think I was gonna land on McBride, but I was between McBride, JSN, and one of the quarterbacks because
I think either or here for us,
like
flip flopping either. I think you're fine. I think I love.
So
JSN.
just take Tyreek Hill.
JSN and PPR seems like such a valuable format to have him in, but I don't think the Seahawks are going to be good at all.
That's the problem. I was
still might
literally
be good.
staring at is I don't know if his quarterback can get him the ball enough.
McBride's going to be good. McBride is going to be really good. Is it worth taking a quarterback here?
I think I'm just going to draft all white guys after this. So
no, wait.
I think,
right.
lad,
you're going to run out like by round 6.
No, I'll find them. They'll find me. I want to see Charlie's face when I take Bo Nix.
I want to chase round 2. I don't want Josh Jacobs.
Charlie, the real question is, do you go Allen or do you go Lamar?
I think I'm firmly on the Lamar side. I'm not really worried about the injury. Lamar's back and practicing, so I'm not too concerned because I don't know. I think Lamar's just better for fantasy.
Yeah, I agree. The weapons are a little bit better in Baltimore too, I think.
Yeah.
I'm gonna trust that I can find my wide receiver core later on in this draft with these scrubs that I'm drafting against. I think I can find it late. So I'll take Lamar and I'll take the first quarterback off the board. Finish off my quarterback spot for the whole season.
Or week 4 when he tears.
See, I think the thing, like people that are drafting in general, like even if you don't play this a lot, I think everybody's like hesitant. You can only start so many players, so it's like when you stack up on one position, then you end up like hosing yourself later once you fill out your roster. So I think taking a quarterback early, I think, is not a bad idea. Like taking it right here.
I think it's a bad idea in other formats, but in the 10-man, I'm looking to get one of the onesies. I'm looking to fill my tight end with Brock or McBride because that's just like legendary. And then one of the 4 quarterbacks up there that can run the ball are always a pleasure to have.
I agree.
Well, Jonathan Taylor goes next by our good buddy Jake, our co-producer in training. He needed a running back. He's got Drake London and Justin Jefferson. I think John Taylor is a really solid pick for him there. I'm on the clock again. I to be quite honest with you, I have been in all the drafts I've done and mocked. I'm fading all of these top end quarterbacks, and it's not because I don't believe in their talent, but I think there are so many other quarterbacks later in the draft that won't finish as maybe a quarterback 1, but could certainly finish in that top 10. And when you start looking at the point differential between your quarterback 8 and your quarterback 10, you're talking about a couple points a week, which matters. But I think for points, there's a huge difference between an RB10 and an RB20 from a point differential spread. So me personally, I don't hate the pick. I'm not dogging on it, but I'm just kind of vocalizing my thoughts about drafting quarterbacks early. I'm in kind of a pickle right now because Tyreek Hill's sitting here and I'm absolutely not going to draft him. But JSN, we keep talking about JSN, and I don't like Sam Darnold. I've been on record stating that I think the Seahawks are going to be bad. So I think I'm going to pivot away and I'm going to go with another running back. Josh Jacobs is sitting here. I do love Josh, but Kyron Williams is also sitting there. And my concerns are Matt Stafford's health, but I can't argue with the amount of volume that this guy gets. He signed a new deal in the offseason. I think I'm just going to rip it and take Kyron Williams.
Wow.
Interesting.
Wow.
I really did think you were going to go Jacobs there. I think that's a good pick though. Fresh off the extension, like Rams.
Nah, they don't catch enough passes.
Playing all the games though. Like there's no way he's missing games unless he gets another injury. Like this injury that he currently has right now, he's not missing a game.
I don't know, man. He's getting old. I hope he doesn't. I'm not sitting here rooting for injury. I do have concern just due to his age and the fact that it is like a back problem that he's got right now. Like that, is it actually going to be 100% by week 1, or is it a lingering? Does it, something get reignited in the back? So I'm optimistic he'll be okay, but there is that concern in the back of my head.
Yeah, that's fair. Now I'm sitting here at the clock. I got CD and Bowers, loving my start so far. And I did not think that Jacobs was going to be at this pick right now. So that is somebody that I was considering taking with my second rounder. And it's a little bit of a shame because I think I might take him, but one of my bigger player takes this year that I've recently grown more on, that I know me and Hunter discussed recently, was James Cook. Oh, yeah. And I just don't know how the touchdown regression is going to come as much as people think. Like maybe it comes. He had 16 last year. Maybe it goes down to minus like 13 or something like that. But
well, they only threw for 40. I'll tell you exactly how it comes. Actually, they only threw for 40. All their touchdowns, only 40% of them were passing touchdowns, which is like extremely low for not only the Bills, not only Josh Allen, but just league average in general. Like that number is just like it's gonna go up, and so that's gonna mean that James Cook scores less touchdowns. It doesn't mean that he's worse, but he'll score less touchdowns.
So I would say, just in rebuttal, first off, Josh Allen scored 15 rushing touchdowns last year. So if anything, those touchdowns could easily come out of his as well and easily be lower. And then two, James Cook's a good receiving back, so I'm not worried about that. I think he could easily catch a couple touchdowns this year. Now, unfortunately, again, like I just think Jacobs is too far of a fall at this point. But I did want to highlight James Cook, I think, as being a great pick and kind of like, I would say the last running back in this range of guys that we're drafting right now, but I'm going to go with Jacobs. I think that's just too far of a fall. I like Green Bay this year. He's a good player every year. I think that's the right pick.
Yeah, so of course you guys let JSN fall to me, and I have all the same concerns you guys do, which is, can Sam Darnold fucking play football? I don't know. I think this team is going to be the last, coming last in the division. I think this team is going to be really, really bad. I think their ownership is confused about whether or not they're trying to win or rebuild. Like, nobody really knows what's going on there. And I also don't want any part of JSN. Like, I just don't. So I'm going to make it an easier pick that's easier to get behind. Yes, he's a wide receiver too, but he's a wide receiver too on the best offense or one of the best offenses in the league. So I'm happy with taking T. Higgins here.
Yeah.
I think that's a good pick, and it even begs the question: do you run with the Joe Burrow stack on the back end, try to go with him, as Yeti goes with George Kittle here, who I like. I love that pick. I think he's in that group of.
Could he have gotten him in the fourth round though?
I think so. I think so. On that turn.
I think nobody was taking him on that turn.
But who do you take instead then?
Josh Allen.
Because there's only one tight end. If Kittle goes, then you're screwed.
If you wanted a tight end, then yeah, I think just take what you can get. But.
Well, okay. Would you rather have? I think he could. Oh, geez. I think he can get Kittle and Daniels, or he could have had Allen and.
Or he could have taken James Cook and Kittle in the fourth. I mean, you look at Yeti's makeup right now, and he's got two wide receivers. He's still vacant at the running back position.
Right now is about to take Allen and Cook. He's about to grab both of them right here.
Which honestly, I mean,
running back, so maybe not, but. Ooh,
he fills one with Cook and Josh Allen. Like, you think about it, we were just talking about, the reception touchdown that Josh Allen was throwing last year to James Cook. And if you're sitting here saying he's not going to regress, then that tells me that maybe he should take Josh Allen and just double stack that.
No, I'm not. I'm not against those picks at all. I'm more just saying I don't know if you will, because he already has two running backs right now. So it is a little scary in a 3-receiver draft with also 2 flexes, not having a receiver in the first 4 rounds and also picking last in the 5th. I think it's a little scary to kind of go into where his first receiver that he might have might be like Cortland Sutton or Xavier Worthy or something like that. And I think that's a little scary to go into the season like that.
Yeah.
No, I understand that completely.
But we'll see where he goes here. We got who's up right now? Who is this?
We have Joel.
Joel is on the clock.
He is on the clock, and we are patiently waiting.
I'm feeling worse and worse about my Lamar Jackson pick as Josh Allen stays on the board.
I know. I mean, you don't know.
But it's like you weren't going to get him on the way back.
No,
that's the thing.
Yeah, he was going to be. Jackson was going to be gone before you got him.
Yeah. But I mean,
that's what
I would have left him for you, Charlie. I would have taken Josh Allen.
Appreciate that.
There. So just to let you know,
it's because you're stupid.
But we have Joel here on the clock with
Amon-Ra and
HN. A lot of receptions on this team right here. I'm curious, Scotty, what's your take? Because you're a big Lions guy. What's your take on Amon-Ra this year, especially knowing that Ben Johnson leaves? And on top of that, O-line gets a little bit worse, but there's also Jameson Williams. He's emerging. Laporta's back to full health. You got Gibbs. What's your take on Amon-Ra in the first round this year?
I still think it's a safe pick. I kind of said it at the beginning, but I think that this Lions offense is going to be one of the best in the league. I think that just the pure talent on the roster is going to lead to success fantasy-wise for virtually all of these playmakers on this team. So I would not hesitate taking Amon-Ra, even though there's a little bit of question marks with the coordinator position and with maybe not being able to reach the exact same standards that we saw in 2024.
Amon-Ra's looked great so far, and I think it's tough because I think most people, everyone likes Gibbs, obviously, and everybody likes Amon-Ra for the most part. And I think a lot of people are pretty high on JMO.
What about
people are also going to be
Tesla?
high on Laporta too. So it's hard to pick like who's going to be the odd man out because I can't see all 4 of them really returning their entire value.
That's what has me concerned with Sam Laporta. This was another conversation I had today. Was there are a lot of mouths to feed in that offense, kind of like the Bears offense, where it's kind of hard to project who is going to be the alpha fantasy return of value. And with the Bears, that's a big concern for me, and that's why none of the Bears players are currently in the third round at all. And so I think there's a similar argument for the Lions. Now, obviously, we have seen them do it. There's some changes from the coordinators, but they're the Lions last year played from an offensive perspective. They were decimated on defense, so they had to play at a very high level. In the event that their defense comes back healthy, like everybody's planning on, the offense doesn't have to win them games. And that doesn't mean that, they obviously don't have to do their part, but they actually will have a defense. And so do we see a little bit of a touchdown regression from the Lions? I think that's certainly a possibility.
Definitely here. And RJ goes Josh Allen.
We go.
Right
Here
after.
we go.
Right after
you had to
Joel
go
goes
Allen.
JSN.
Yeah.
I think
The wide
JSN
receivers here
though,
just
like,
suck.
JSN is a pretty good pick at the end of the third round here.
That's a
full
great
PPR
value.
league. I
Great
think it's a
value.
pretty safe pick, but I think RJ has to go receiver here. I mean,
No, dude, it's a double flex league. Like even if he takes James Cook, all 3 of those guys are still getting in his lineup. It's like unless he goes Tyreek because he just likes him, but it seems like he's going to keep falling. I don't like any of the receivers for this selection.
I kind of agree with Charlie. I understand that his wide receiver, or not Charlie.
Yeah, Charlie.
Charlie. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, okay. I get that it's 3 wide receivers, and that could be a hindrance, but the fact that you can also start 2 flex, like just going based off my rankings, James Cook is an easy one here. And I get that his makeup is not great, and there are concerns for his wide receiver room, but you got to find points where you can. And I think that, I keep jesting about Tyreek Hill. I would not take him. And James Cook, to me, is like that's kind of where I have a tier break at. So I like James Cook here, even given his team makeup.
no, I wouldn't say it's a bad pick at all. I agree. It just is scary,
And he did it. He was listening to me.
Well done.
He goes with both Bills guys. And for those who don't know, RJ is a resident Bills fan, so it wasn't too surprising from our perspective to see that happen. But I mean, RJ is going with a crazy start here with a quarterback and 3 running backs. But yeah, I love all those 3 running backs, and I think those are all guys that could be in the top 10 running back range. And you might have the number 1 quarterback, so you can't really hate on the strategy there.
Yeah,
James Cook very well could be his best running back on that roster too.
potentially. I mean, Derrick Henry, if he regresses and or gets hurt, and then Genty, a lot of people have really high, but we don't know.
I'm not sold on Genty at all. So
I know you're not.
I agree.
And I go back and forth. I think the Raiders are going to be bad on defense, like Scotty has mentioned numerous times, and for that reason, Genty's going to be on the field because they don't have any depth at running back behind him, and he can pass catch. So in a PPR league, I think he's got value, but I understand the concerns.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely concerns there, but I think with the Raiders, the interesting thing is like how many passes is Genty going to catch? I think that's the biggest question of whether or not he returns that first round value.
Sure. Joel took Breece Hall. I don't like that pick at all. I'm very concerned with Breece Hall this year as far as there's already trade rumors of him potentially not being on the team week 1. They're shopping him around. They wanted to have a 3-headed, backfield. So Breece Hall scares me. Yeti took Amari.
Bad pick and then great pick.
Yeah, I was really hoping Amari Hampton was going to fall to me because he's somebody that I'm really high on this year. I think, we know Harbaugh wants to run the ball. Yeti was devoid of a running back until he took Hampton, so it makes sense for him to do that. And, Alvin Kamara in ADP is higher than Amari and Hampton, but I have Amari and Hampton a lot higher. So I like that pick for Yeti quite a bit. And Scotty, you were on the clock.
I really hate the 7th pick.
Just take Tyreek Hill.
I'm thinking about
building
it.
a crazy team right now.
It's only going to be, I mean, at some point in time, it makes sense.
Oh, I don't know.
At some point in time, it makes sense. It really does. And, I mean, the other name that's jumping out at me is Garrett Wilson. And I'm like, I don't really want any part of that either. Like, I like Garrett Wilson.
I think it kind of just depends on how much you believe the Jets are going to be able to move the ball this year. Because I've seen a lot of people talk about.
He said this is going to be Justin Fields' best year ever.
Which is, if you believe in that, then I think you should go ahead and take him because he will obviously by far lead this team in targets. But I think a lot of people.
I don't know if you know, but the best year ever for Justin Fields is 2,900 yards. I'm not expecting a ton out of it. I think I just got to go with Tyreek. I mean, I'm going with the upside. CMC, Tyreek, if it hits, bro. If it doesn't hit, I'll see you guys in last place.
But I think there's a point to be made there, especially if you're, whatever, last place, who cares? But it's like, we're trying to win the league. You don't get anything for getting second place in your fantasy league, most likely. And I talked about this a lot with MK for a while of you got to pick guys who you think are league winners because, who cares when you talk about 3 o'clock? You know what I'm saying? Or 3 o'clock, third place, excuse me. No one cares about.
I was going to say 3 o'clock sounds like nap time for me, so I'm all about 3 o'clock. But third place is not a good spot to be at when you're not, an old Ricky Bobby adage. If you're not first, you're last. MK, you're on the clock, buddy.
Yeah, no, I like the pick from Scotty right there. I think Tyreek, a lot of upside here in the 4th round, could definitely have a great season if Tua stays healthy. Hampton, good pick too. I do think he is starting to get a little overrated.
Okay, question: do we really think Hampton's a good pick?
That's
I do. I do think it's a really good pick.
Just because Najee.
He's a back.
Najee did get activated today.
He's listed second on the depth chart. Officially, Yeti just drafted a backup running back, and we're like, what a great pick.
Yeah, I've been taking Amari and Hampton in the early 4th in some of my leagues, and I'm high on the kid. I think that he's clearly, Najee Harris is playing with a pirate's eye right now. So what's that situation look like? I think Hampton is the future.
I'm just saying he's listed as a backup.
Yeah. I mean, the depth chart, it doesn't really matter right now. Hampton's going to be a good player, but it just depends on how much Najee's going to take. But
I think he could have gone. Let me make my
pick right here before we continue this, just because I have 20 seconds.
Taylor for sure.
I'm gonna go with a guy that I'm very confident every season, and maybe this is a season where he ends up not being good. But Alvin Kamara is good every single season, no matter how bad the team is. He catches a ton of passes. I don't see his situation changing at all. He's my favorite player in the NFL, or second favorite maybe, but I'm pretty happy with getting him as my RB2 here. I think that there's a couple more running backs in this tier, but we're starting to get to that point of running backs where it's getting pretty yucky out there.
I love that word, you little tyke. I'm on the clock here.
I promised you wouldn't call anyone that.
I don't believe in Justin Fields. I don't believe in the Jets, and so that makes it really hard to take Garrett Wilson. I've said in prior picks I'm not really interested in taking a quarterback this early, even though Jaden Daniels is still there. So I'm looking at kind of my positions, and I have one wide receiver at this point. I mentioned Garrett Wilson. Marvin Harrison is kind of fun. I'm a Cardinals fan. That would be fun to me. However, I think my pick here is going to be Scary Terry. He signed a 3-year deal. He's going to be with the Commanders, and he had his breakout year last year with Jaden Daniels. He's tied to a good offense. I think Scary's my pick.
Let's see if Chiplip gets sniped right here.
No, Terry was going to be who I was going to pick.
Oh wow.
Jeez, he was pretty far down.
That's what I thought too.
Just the case of he was dropping because he wasn't signed. That's the right spot.
There definitely is risk. He hasn't been in training camp at all. I agree. You got to take him now at this point, but there's definitely risk to him not being in training camp, and the added risk of injury to that. I know we've seen it with players in the past.
Sure, but you could make that same argument for Mike Evans, who was actually ahead of him in ADP.
Yeah.
What's the argument for Evans?
Just his age and the injury concern, and the fact that he's like a glass cannon, and historically
the difference is though is that Evans has been practicing in training camp and with the offense, whereas McLaurin hasn't been. And you've seen in past, and what I was saying is more like in the past, you've seen receivers that hold out of training camp and their production drops from the previous year or whatever they were projected. So I think it's a little bit of a concern.
Okay, well, Mike Evans just went, the guy we were just talking about. So don't
that
hate
was
that
an obvious pick,
Charlie.
Come on. That's why I said I wonder if you're going to get sniped. Come on.
Oh, man, I needed that one after. Okay, had to snag that one. I'm way more comfortable with the wide receivers when we get to the 5, 6, 7 round than I am. When you look at the running backs that are up here, it gets really nasty. Oh, my God. So I'm just going to take the guy that I want. Travion Henderson was the pick.
No, I like that pick a lot. I have him.
It's a good pick right there, Alan. That's a good pick right there.
Oh, Devontae Adams was the guy I was going to take there.
Yeah.
I think Devontae's white. I think he's still white. So
Yeah, you kind of.
I deviated.
Yeah, what happened there?
Deviated. I just
Was
wanted
it
him.
was it because he has a Taco Bell in his house?
Yeah, he's pretty sick. I also love Devontae.
This puts me
I like to tell Yeti how much I love the Raiders players after they leave the Raiders. That's one of my favorite things to do.
You were talking very highly of Derek Carr.
Oh, I love Derek Carr. And when he left, I'm like, cool, I can finally say it. Now that he's gone.
No, Derek Carr sucks.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Shut your mouth.
The best thing that Derek Carr offered was eyeliner. That was it. All right, you're on the clock, buddy. What are you going to do here?
Yeah, sorry, I'm taking a little while. I was really set on taking Adams here. Like, no question. I thought he was
have two picks.
a guy. But it's
That's
again,
what I
it's
was
the
thinking.
issue of taking 2 guys in a row is cool, but then I have to wait like a really long time to take some players that don't have like a good grasp of like.
Come on, there's 2 guys that like you. One of them you gotta take.
So I'm gonna take Garrett Wilson here for sure.
Wow, that's not what I was thinking.
For sure.
I think. Well, maybe I lied. Maybe I'm a liar. There is this one guy I want to reach on. Anyways.
This is your pick, by the way, so you can pick whoever you want.
Great.
That's true. I'm
You can
really
literally
like,
click whatever button you like.
Just close your eyes, start scrolling, and hit the plus.
Yeah.
There's just one guy that I'm really curious where he goes.
I'm taking
I
this.
wanna
I'm
see.
taking Wilson. I made a video about
He
him.
takes him right here.
I made a video about Wilson, and I kind of got to put my money where my mouth is. I think he's gonna have a good season. But then this guy, I know he's not gonna make it to where I am, and suspension. Like if he gets suspended, it's tough. But I want to win the league, and I think if Rashee Rice plays, he's a league winner. So I'm gonna take Rice here because if he does play, like he's legit like a top 7 guy. And I'm not super big on taking quarterbacks in 1 QB leagues super early. I'm totally cool waiting on my quarterback. So I'm gonna take Rice here with.
There's no way in a 10-man league you just took Rashee Rice over Jaden Daniels and Jalen Hurts.
I did because at the end of the day, the quarterback I get later is gonna score a crap ton of points, and
Or I'll
get him in the
snipe
10th
him
round.
right
And you guys
before,
taking Jaden Daniels and Lamar Jackson early, like I'm totally cool.
Well,
taking skilled
I'm prepared to do something
It's
that
just
Slaps was
the
not
replacement
prepared to
caliber
do.
player from Rashee Rice is going to be pretty
You
good
gonna-
in a
You
10-man.
gonna take Marv?
I'm not scared to stack.
Let's go.
Gabe, I was wondering what you were gonna do with that pick, and I had a feeling you were gonna go Rice with it because you don't pick for a while, so it's not you didn't really have a choice to not take him there. But with how many starters we have, it's definitely a high risk, high reward play with being able to start 5 receivers. So if he doesn't get suspended, you might have the best team in the league, but if he does, you're gonna be potentially fishing for some options there.
Yeah, I think he might be gone for like 8.
So here, I don't pick for a while again, so I'm going to talk about all the guys that I want, just so you guys can keep them in mind for your picks. I'm looking solely at wide receiver here because there's only quarterbacks up, and I already have Lamar. You guys suck for that. But I'm looking at DK, PPR, could be solid. Top wide receiver there. DJ Moore, off my board. Cortland Sutton, I'm liking. And then scroll down, you've got Worthy, Zay Flowers, Devonta Smith, good PPR guys. I like all these wide receivers. My pick here would be Jamison Williams, but I have Jahmyr Gibbs already. So we'll take Bo Nix as number 1.
It's a good pick.
Yeah, Sutton or DK. I think Sutton's probably safer. But just coin flip between.
I feel like DK could be really good. Like he's going to get a guaranteed really high target share, but I'll take the homer pick.
That's a good pick for Jalen Hurts right there too.
Yeah,
I think that's
finally.
definitely a value getting him in the 5th round. I mean, Daniels is still on the board to this point.
Well, and that's where I'm at here. Is I'm on the clock,
Totally,
and
Bill.
I have.
You have Terry.
Well, let me talk.
The stack.
I got to stack. I have to stack here. I don't want to take a quarterback early, but given the opportunity to have Jaden Daniels and Scary Terry, it seems like destiny. I'm going to take Jaden Daniels and roll with it.
Yeah, that's a great pick right there. I would have definitely considered taking him if he had fallen, and now you get that Terry Daniels stack, which you go in against your word of taking the quarterback. But I think sometimes you got to play the board, so I respect that. This is a really tough pick because there's a running back that I do really like on the board right now, with Kenneth Walker, and I think right now, like again, looking at the board, I think he's by far the best option talent wise. I ranked him as the number 7 running back in the NFL. I think his talent is off the charts, and I think as long as he's in Seattle, he will be the starter still. I do think there's a good chance he gets dealt mid-season, which could increase his value. The only concern I do have with him is that he just continues to miss games every season, which is a little bit concerning to me. And so I'm looking at these receivers that are up. Like you look at DK, they're kind of, it's in my eyes, this is a very flat tier of players. And so it's really hard for me to make a pick here, but I'm going to reach a little bit here. And oh my God, it is so tough to make a pick here. This is genuinely like one of the hardest picks I've ever made. I'm going to go with Kenneth Walker.
That's a good pick. He's going to be good.
Yeah, I like that pick a lot.
I think I like that, shore up my running back room. I got 3 good running backs that I like now, and I think I can focus on other positions from here on out. So I think that's better than reaching on one of these receivers in my eyes.
All right, Scotty, you're on the clock.
Yeah, mine's an easy one. I'm in the exact same boat as SlapDawg. I usually do not take a quarterback in single QB leagues this early, but when you're going for the stack, I'm in an all-in situation right now where I could be a elite unit or I could not even compete at all this season. So I'm going to go ahead and reach for the stack. I don't know if it's a reach. I don't think he would have come back to me, so I think it was the only spot I could take him.
No, I like that pick. And James Conner goes off the board next to kind of round out Yeti's running back room just a little bit more. I like that pick. James Conner, if you're looking for a running back, I have James Conner over Chuba Hubbard, and ADP says otherwise. But James Conner, year over year, is a dog. He's somebody who produces year in and year out. And so I don't hate that pick at all, especially because Yeti was needing a running back. Now, I do like DK Metcalf, and he's kind of like the last guy on this tier as we wait for Joel to pick here. I like DK Metcalf a lot, just given the rest of the talent that's on the board at this point. There's somebody's got to do something, in Pittsburgh. And I think obviously that person is DK Metcalf. So yeah, you're paired with Aaron Rodgers. Does he still have gas in the tank? What happens there? I think because of that roster is so devoid of offensive talent, DK Metcalf will be the wide receiver one for them very obviously. And I think that, as I mentioned, given the talent that's still here, I would be eyeing him very heavily. Especially for RJ, because if you look if Joel does not take DK here, I think DK is a lock to go to RJ because he has no wide receivers at this point.
Is DK still going to be good even if the Steelers are really bad?
No, I don't think so.
Really?
I mean, the Steelers have a really great defense. Like that's what they have done. They won multiple games last year because of their defense, and so I think that the offense is going to have to find a way to produce, and that's what makes me interested in DK.
I'm interested too. It's just like, it's not even that pricey. Like we're all the way in the 6th round now where it's like, I mean, sure, the Steelers might suck at offense, but DK could still, with a 30% target share, be damn fantasy relevant.
Sure. We had a comment come in over on Twitter from 2 minutes that Adams will do better than Puka. So congratulations to you, Alan.
Charlie, this one right here.
No, I definitely could see that happening where it's just a matter of touchdowns, where Devontae Adams is going to be a great red zone threat for this built Rams offense. And Puka's great, obviously. They can both be really good. But if Adams scores more touchdowns than Puka, I could easily see him outscoring him. And that's pretty viable.
Yeah, that's actually 2 minutes is my burner account. I just wanted to gas up my own team. I'm just kidding. That's not me at all.
All right, so Joel took Chuba Hubbard. So DK Metcalf is still on the board as RJ has also taken a different wide receiver, being DJ Moore. Given the fact that, I like DJ Moore. I think every year DJ Moore produces, no matter who his quarterback is, no matter what situation he's in. I had made a clip about how DJ Moore had been... He's played with a different quarterback for multiple years and still found a lot of success. So the question now is, what does this offense look like? And that's really, I think, why DJ has fallen so much is, does Rome Odunze take that second step or, that second year leap? Luther Burden, Loveland. There's just a lot of mouths to feed there. So it's an interesting argument. I think given where we're at in the draft, it makes sense, especially for RJ's team. And then he took DK Metcalf, who we already kind of covered as well. So he's trying to plug those gaps that he has in his wide receiver room. And then we're back on the clock with Joel.
Yeah, no, I really like those picks from RJ. I don't love DJ Moore like we've all talked about. I think we all have very similar concerns. But you mentioned it, last year, he finishes the receiver 16 on the season, and it was a complete shit show of a season for the Bears, and he still finished that high. Receiver 7 the year before. So if you're getting back-to-back, top 20 seasons from DJ Moore. He is really the only proven asset. Like, everyone loves Rome, but DJ Moore has been doing this for years. And Luther Burden, he was my number one player that I scouted on film in this receiver class. He's going to have to buy his time and in the Ben Johnson system, and it's going to take some time. But we go with Worthy here to Joel. Tet McMillan. I mean, does anyone have a big opinion on Tet either way here? Anyone think he's going to be really good this year?
I think there's an opportunity for it. I mean, really the basis of this argument is, do you believe Bryce Young at the second half of last year or the Bryce Young that we've seen for the past few years? And he got benched last year for the Red Rocket. We kind of all thought that, he was done as a starter and the Bryce Young show was over. And then he came back at the second half of the year and kind of had a completely different look to him and what he was doing. So the question I think you need to ask yourself if you're going to choose Tet McMillan is, do you believe that Bryce Young that we saw in the second half of last year is going to continue to develop? I think it made sense for the Panthers to draft Tet McMillan, and I'm not stating he was my wide receiver one in this class, but they needed wide receiver help desperately bad, and they needed to get him some weapons.
What's funny is Yeti has two picks that I have like high ceilings and really low floors for, and that's Hampton and Tet. Like, I could see things going off for both of them, and I could see things going terribly for both of them.
The rookie? Really?
100%. I agree with that one here.
Yeah.
But I mean, here's the thing too: is we play fantasy football to win.
You say rookies, but nobody even talked about Henderson, and I think he's all ceiling. Like, I don't see any floor for him.
Yeah, Scotty, you took Montgomery there. Walk us through that.
Yeah, another high-risk pick. I mean, there's a real opportunity that David Montgomery, if this offense continues to be explosive, he's going to see a lot of red zone touches, and he might get in the end zone a whole lot. Obviously, he's the least or the less explosive of the backs in the offense, but I do think around the goal line they're going to give him the ball quite a bit. And at the end of the day, I'm just betting that this is going to be a team that scores all the time. So I think Montgomery's going to be good. And I needed a second running back. We're getting quickly to the point where if you're looking for an RB2, you might get an RB2 that doesn't see a ton of touches. So I'm hoping that Montgomery can bail me out on that front.
Yeah, no, I like. Actually, Charlie, do you want to say something there?
No, it's just the double flex makes it really hard to get running backs. They're drying up quick, like we were talking about at the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. The Monty pick is like, I mean, if Gibbs goes down, obviously the upside's there, and he has the floor to be good even with Gibbs there. So I think it's a solid pick for Scotty, who only had one running back at the time. If he waited, I mean, who knows what he's looking like in the next round. But for me here at this pick, there's a guy that I really, really want to take here, and that's Calvin Ridley. And he is my number one player. He's one of my guys every single year, and I have a lot of shares of him. I do think I would be reaching on him a little bit here, and I think I'm going to go with a guy that I was going to take last round, and that's Jameson Williams. I just think that the big play upside in a great offense with the Lions, I just don't think you can miss it, and I think there could be a little bit of regression from Amon-Ra this year, and some of those points, or not even points, but receptions mainly going towards JMO as he continues to improve going into year 4 right now.
I was really hoping I was going to get JMO there, so that kind of snipes me just a little bit because I think there's an opportunity for it for sure. Looking at my team, Sam Laporta is still sitting here, but I'm kind of the belief that I'm going to wait a little bit later on my tight end. And so that kind of eliminates all these tight ends in this role. I have my quarterback situation figured out. I would really like to add another running back, but I have some concerns with Pacheco as far as what does that look like. And RJ Harvey, I like him as a prospect. Who is going to be the guy for Sean Payton and Bo Nix? Certainly a potential, but there's also some ambiguity there with J.K. Dobbins, and so we don't know for sure. I think I'm going to take a guy that a team certainly believes in, so much so that they traded up to go get him, and I think I'm going to take Travis Hunter, and I'll take the dart throw on the potential upside.
I love it.
Cool.
I love it. That's a great pick. Yeah, reports 80% of the snaps on offense. Yeah. I feel like that's all you can really take. If he plays offense, he'll be a great pick in that selection, or in that round right there. We got Jacob here. Looking at his team, he's got Hurts, JT, Evans, London, Jefferson. I mean, he's building a pretty balanced team here. Got the elite quarterback with Jalen Hurts. Has 3 good receivers. I feel like he might be in the range here. Maybe he takes a tight end with Sam Laporta. I think he probably goes with another receiver here and just goes with his first flex. I feel like that's where the value is. Maybe it's on that running back, but I think receiver here is the pick.
I don't know though. I mean, he only has one running back, and I said I'm not sold on Pacheco, and RJ Harvey's kind of an interesting pick. I think if I was Jake, given his makeup, perhaps I would have to take a running back just because they are drying up so quickly, and he still hasn't filled his vacancies for starting running backs.
Are you my inner thoughts right now? Like,
I might be.
As I'm one pick away, where it's just like,
you want
I gotta decide: is RJ Harvey gonna make it all the way back to me?
Sam Laporta right there. There we go.
Pick.
That's a good pick right there.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Sam Laporta was off my board because I have Gibbs. I'm really looking at Zay Flowers because I have this stack with Lamar. And both guys that are picking next already have 3 wide receivers. So I kind of want to risk it a little bit, and I think I'm going to. And Gabe, I'm just talking out loud, and Alan, so you guys can screw me if you want, but let's see what you do.
I like it.
You just screwed me, man. That's who I was gonna take.
I like it.
I got to play the fantasy game, bro. I got to play the gamble.
Sean Payton, he's the king of having 2 running backs that do well, and a PPR running back catches passes. He's been doing it for 20 years.
I'm always a fan of guys that can score all over the field, so I'm really sorry. So I'm going to take it.
Good pick.
I like when guys can just get the ball and go score. Like that's nice.
I don't need a stack in a 10-man league. I'm okay.
I'm taking Baker here. I like
Baker.
Over Mahomes.
I do.
Really?
Baker was top 5 quarterback at a point last season. I love Baker just slings the rock and he's not afraid to get dirty. So I'm a big Baker guy.
You didn't want to stack Rashee Rice and Pat Mahomes?
I think you're onto something there. I think Dobbins is going to be good. I think Dobbins is going to be really good. But in a PPR league, you gotta have some faith that RJ Harvey might be solid, right?
Baker's the GOAT.
Good old Louis.
I do love
says Baker is the GOAT.
Shout out Louis, man.
Baker Mayfield's wife lives right with one of my friends in Omaha. Weird connection that he sees Baker sometimes outside his house.
Yeah, Baker was seen. This is true. He was seen outside at around Thanksgiving time playing catch with a bunch of the neighborhood kids. So he's a kid. He's seems like a good dude.
And then with my next pick, I'm kind of stuck. Not loving any of these guys really that are getting me that excited.
I'll get you excited.
All right.
I'll try my best.
I think I'm gonna take Pickens here. I really like Pickens' upside in Dallas. I think it's a complete game changer being in Dallas instead of Pittsburgh. So I like Pickens in Dallas for sure.
Not going with the Mahomes Rice combo is definitely a question mark there.
I was wondering that.
But I think Pickens a great value there. I mean, Dallas again, Dak could easily throw for 4,500 this year, and even if Lamb eats, Pickens could easily have a great season and finish as the top 20 guy.
Oh my God, I did not even see you drafted Baker. I thought Louis was just hopping in the chat just to root for him. Man, Baker was Mahomes with Rashee Rice. What? All right, I'm deciding between 3 guys: Ridley, Waddle, and Devonta Smith. I think Devonta Smith is the best wide receiver out of all of them. I think Jalen Waddle has the best opportunity, the highest ceiling, and I think Calvin Ridley is probably the safest out of all of them. And I'm going to take Devonta Smith because my wide receivers are weak.
It's a good
pick.
A
really good, quick assessment of your situation.
Thank you.
You should start a podcast, Charlie. Make it about fantasy football or something.
That's a good idea. We should do that.
Got Jacob here on the clock. I mean, he could rip it maybe with Pacheco here. I feel like could be a solid pick. I mean, he could go with his first flex here at receiver, which value-wise is probably the pick. But again, running back's getting pretty dry. So you look at some of the teams towards the back end. You know, Scotty's only sitting here at 2 running backs. SlapDawg at 2 running backs. Both those teams could rip a running back. So not entirely against going running back here if I was Jake.
Just Sam Bean says Hurts seems to favor Devontae more than AJ, meaning I think he agrees with your pick there, Charlie. As an AJ Brown owner, I disagree completely, and that was the worst thing I've ever heard. But
I kind of have a sneaky feeling that Devonta is going to outscore AJ Brown this year. This was before I selected Devonta.
That's so terrible.
But I mean, it is AJ Brown. AJ Brown's a top 5 wide receiver in the league, but geez,
the only way that happens is Brown misses half the games.
Devonta Smith is so good at football, man.
If Brown plays 12 games, he scores more than Devonta Smith this season. Like, there's no way that happens.
I may never draft another running back again. I may just be done drafting running backs.
You very well could be.
Yeah, I think so too.
Aaron Jones.
Not bad. Not a bad pick there.
Oh,
yeah.
He's running.
And I am back on the clock. I have 3 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and a quarterback. I really, oh my gosh, I don't love the running backs here in this area. I'm struggling, gentlemen.
I feel like at running back here, the only really viable guys are either Pacheco or Swift.
And I would take Swift. Swift, it's really between Swift or really Ridley for me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really, how do I want to structure this team given the vacancy that is the running back position? I think I'm just going to take DeAndre Swift. I think I need to secure an RB3, and so I'm going to take him.
Man's thrilled.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I am very
RB3 when I have one.
That I got Ridley falling to me after all that. But I just, don't need to take too long on this pick. But I love Calvin Ridley. He's great every season, underdrafted every season. And Cam Ward is going to be arguably the best quarterback that he's ever played with. So heating up this year.
I like Cam Ward. I do. I was actually talking about this on our show that just came out live. We've just had this conversation. I think Cam Ward is a really interesting own, and I'll shut up and let Scotty draft here, and we can talk more about him when we have some time.
You can keep talking about him because I'm just going to take a tight end here. I think T.J. Hawkinson's another kind of high-risk pick, but assuming that this Minnesota Vikings team can put an offense together that makes sense, like we know Kevin O'Connell is capable of organizing, T.J. Hawkinson could very well be a top-tier tight end in this league, so I'm going to grab him. It was between him and Travis Kelce, and, Travis Kelce's got a lot going on nowadays. He's kind of old. He's got a new fiance. I don't know if I have faith in that regard.
Does the
big vibes guy.
Does the rookie quarterback scare you at all in Minnesota for Hawkinson?
It does scare me generally, but I think if I was going to take that risk, I would take it with that coaching staff, and that makes me feel a little bit more comfortable. I said it, back before JJ was even drafted there, that whichever rookie quarterback got drafted to the Vikings was going to be one of the best in the class, and I think it's because I have so much faith in that coaching staff. So I'm going to carry that over to the offense generally. I think it's still going to function pretty well, and tough division, but I think it's going to be pretty competent.
I thought you were asking that question about the Calvin Ridley one with Cam Ward, because, Cam Ward's the actual rookie and not JJ, but JJ's going to blow. I'm out on JJ. I think. Are
you? I'm pretty high on JJ.
Really, I was not a fan of his film. When I watched him, I saw Sam Howell, but at the
end of the day, even if he is Sam Howell as far as talent level, I'm still high on JJ, and I kind of echo what Scotty feels. Kevin O'Connell, look what he's done with his quarterbacks. Look at Nick Mullins. Look at the Pastronaut. Look at Kirk Cousins. All these quarterbacks that I think, and Sam Darnold, who we are not a believer in, but Sam Darnold was a top 10 quarterback in fantasy football last year and took them to the playoffs where they fizzled out. But he gets the best out of his quarterbacks, and that's what makes me so excited for JJ. Is not the fact that JJ is an all-world talent, but the fact that this coaching staff knows how to get the best out of their quarterbacks. And now Jerry Jeudy has gone off the clock or off the board here by Yeti. How are we feeling about Jerry Jeudy? Is that a good pick? The Browns
Let me talk about this one, because Charlie and I had a pretty big discrepancy on this one. He is not on Jeudy. I like Jeudy this year. I loved what I saw out of him in 2024. He looked like a very polished receiver, looked exactly what we thought he was going to be coming out of college in my eyes. Maybe not exactly what we thought, but I just think that he's going to be able to get open, and he's, a very pure route runner. His hands have improved over the years, and this team's going to be playing from behind every single game. So I just can't see a way where Jeudy doesn't have good production just because he's the only weapon in a team that's going to be passing the ball a lot. So I think that's good value here.
Okay. I like it. We're still waiting on this pick from Joel. He goes.
Oh, I like that.
It's a good pick right there.
Yeah, I do too.
It's a good pick.
So,
Isaiah Pacheco is still on the board. What are we talking about?
Tyjae Spears on IR, though?
Yeah, I understand that, but it's going to be – so he's going to – the first 4 weeks that Tyjae Spears is out, it's going to be Tony Pollard in this rookie offense with Cam Ward. They play the Broncos week 1. I don't like this at all. I think it's going to be a tough situation, uphill battle for Tony Pollard all year. They don't want Tony Pollard to be their running back. I truly believe they want it to be Tyjae Spears. He just can't get on the field. He's just always injured. But
sounds like Tony Pollard wasn't the worst pick then.
Well,
because
I mean,
if Tajay Spears can't get on the field, somebody's got to carry the rock.
It's only 4 weeks though. Like I think if Tajay's out the whole year, sure, it was a good pick. But Isaiah Pacheco, who I know is guaranteed as the starting running back for an entire season, you got to go him over Tony.
Debo.
There you go, Burge.
Debo goes off the board, and it's still on RJ for the wraparound. Debo, has he eaten one too many Whoppers? Is his time done here? Like, I mean, he's put on some weight. He's now with the Commanders, and so what is our thought process?
Do not
on
be fat shame.
I think
we do not
value.
No, whenever I fat shame, it doesn't count because I'm fat. So it's like it's a 1-to-1.
I think Debo is actually in a good situation to do well this season. Not where RG just took him, unfortunately. But I thought Debo had some value going into this year for sure. I think he's in a good spot to catch a lot of in between stuff and get a lot of yards.
Nice pick, Burge. Nice, good one.
But a good redemption here. I think I like Ibuka.
RJ, no way you just sniped him like that. That's crazy.
That's tough.
Sorry to interrupt you, Gabe, but I did not think he was going to take him there.
I'm pretty much, that's what I had to say. I think Debo catches a lot of passes, like 10, 15 yards, has a lot of room to run. I think he'd be valuable in this system. And I think they have a good system with
it's a good offense, so you can always bet on the second option on good offense. Maybe he gets some red zone touches, considering they have a pretty glaring hole at running back. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he got some goal line carries. Like, I feel like that's in the realm of possibilities.
Well, Louis says Debo was picked way too early, so he's echoing Gabe's thoughts there. I tend to agree with that. And then 2 minutes said Ibuka is a dog. Nice pick. So it sounds like the Brainiac community is echoing our thoughts here about the redemption. Next off the board, Waddle finally goes. And then Isaiah Pacheco right behind him to Yeti. So, Waddle fall into the 8th round. I think that's great value for him. I don't hate that pick by Joel, especially given the landscape of the wide receivers up and coming. And then Isaiah Pacheco finally goes off the board. And so, Scotty, it is back to you, my friend.
Yeah. Again, I find myself in a spot that I'm just like not super excited about. But
that's what you said for every pick, I think.
I know. So it's going to be extra funny when I win this league. But I'm going to go with Chris Olave. Obviously, none of us are high on this Saints team, but I do think that somebody's got to do something there. And I really think that Chris Olave is obviously going to be the guy who is going to eat in the passing game if anybody does. So just kind of a volume pick. I mean, you look at some other options, people like, I don't know, any player, Rome Odunze on the Bears, and it's just like you don't know who's getting what. At least with Olave, he's getting targets. He's
probably getting a concussion.
He might get a concussion, but we have that in common too, so that's fine.
True.
I sympathize with him on that one also.
Okay, mad respect. Yeah. MK.
Yeah, I think I'm in a good position right now. I really like my team, honestly. I think it's come together very well. I'm looking receiver here. Jordan Addison is staring me right in the face. Like, I think
with a 4-game suspension, you're licking your chops.
It is a 3-game suspension, not 4. Which isn't that bad. First 3 weeks of the season, you're not gonna have any bye weeks for the other players. And I was definitely a little bit lower on him, but I think he's looked good. I'm just a little worried with how the offense is gonna be with JJ. And I think I like Aaron Jones. I like Hawk. I'm gonna go with a guy who's. I also really like Stephon Diggs. I just kind of saw his name as well, but I'm gonna go with a guy that has gotten a little bit more hype as of late. I believe in this offense more than anything, and the quarterback, especially on this team, more than anything in the world.
You're taking Cooper Kupp.
So I'm going to go with Sticky Ricky here.
Sticky Ricky Pearsall. Wow. All right. You mentioned Stephon Diggs. He's the guy I was targeting here, and he's the guy I'm going to take.
And that's a good pick. That's a very good pick.
At this point in the draft, we're looking at who has the highest ceiling, and given the wide receivers who are still available, it's Stephon Diggs for me. He's shown year in and year out that he is a viable, great wide receiver. Obviously, he's coming back from injury, but he will be the wide receiver 1 for this Patriots team and a developing Drake May. Now we have Jake, who we are waiting on for his pick. Ricky was a little bit more of a reach. Why don't you give us a little bit of your thought process behind taking him when you did while we wait for Jake?
Yeah, sure. So I'd say with Ricky, and I know Charlie's on the clock now, and that's, Quinshon Judkins, who hasn't even signed his contract, goes. But I think real quick on Ricky, receiver 1 on this 49ers team. We talked about system. I think the 49ers system is absolutely incredible. I'm a huge Brock Purdy believer. If I can get the receiver 1 on a great team like this in round 6 or 8 at this point that we're at, I think it's looking great, and all reports have said that Ricky Pearsall has been great. So I think at this value, I think it's a great second flex for me.
Okay, well, Jake
Pearsall is awesome. Yeah, the Quinshon is crazy.
Yeah, Judkins going there was a little bit crazy to me because he still hasn't even signed his contract, as we mentioned. Roma Dunze went off the board, so you took Roma Dunze there, Charles. I'm going to try and keep up here.
When I took Rome would be the only guy I would have taken over Ricky, but I was really hoping that both these tight ends, Andrews and Evan Ingram, were going to make it to my pick. Rome ended up making it, so I said screw it and take the receiver because I think I'll get one of these tight ends back with me. Gabe just took Evan Ingram. He gets the one I probably wanted more, but I could get Mark Andrews as the stack for Lamar Jackson. I think in PPR, right, Gabe? We're loving Evan Ingram.
Yeah, I think he's a second option in Denver. I think he's going to catch a ton of passes, maybe like 80 receptions, which would be ideal, especially as what is like the 6th or 7th tight end off the board at this point. I like his value.
Adam Neal does not think your draft has gone great so far, Alan.
Thanks for watching, Adam. I love you.
Yeah, Adam, thank you. Genuinely appreciate it. Who are you going with here, Gabe?
Yeah, I'm going to take
Jacoby Myers.
I think he's talented, and I really would have liked to say
amid the contract.
Get traded.
Yeah, I would. Well, I mean, we're playing it's one season. I think he's talented. Yeah, him going to a different team does scare me. But I look at the rest of the guys on the board, and I think he, after last season, was the best player. So I'm going with Myers.
Alan, is there any chance for redemption in Adam Neal's eyes with your pick here?
I don't know. I mean, he thinks I'm just sucking anyway, so I'm just going to do what I do, I guess. There's no coming back.
Close your eyes and hit draft.
There's no coming back. I don't know what I want to do with this pick. I wasn't thinking ahead.
He did give you a heart spot or a little heart emoji, and I think it's because he's trying to gas you up here on this pick. He really believes in you. And you took Caleb Johnson.
Yeah, I got to scrape in some running backs. Obviously, he's got some question marks, but everybody does at this point. At this point in the draft, so I'm just going to take some risky guys and see if they pan out at the running back spot.
I mean, that's where we're at in the draft. Is you're looking for some sort of opportunity. So I don't hate that pick, Charlie.
I really wanted to take both of those tight ends, honestly, on this turn, on that 8-9 turn, the Ingram and Andrews. I feel like that would have been pretty good. I think you can get flex weeks out of Ingram, but now that I see Caleb Johnson go, we're in a PPR league. I think I'm just going to take the actual starting running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
That's a good pick. That's a great pick right there.
I think maybe Andrews could make it back to me even potentially with Travis Kelce still up. So we'll see.
Yeah, you should have taken Amir Abdullah is what Adam had suggested to you, Alan. All right. Jake's on the clock here. He's pretty even keeled as far as his team construction. He's got 3 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a quarterback, and a tight end. So he could really do anything here. Jake is a Green Bay Packers fan, and he took Matthew Golden here.
It's a good pick right there.
Yeah, I mean, once again, we're shooting for upside here, so I don't hate that pick whatsoever. I am on the clock, and there are a couple tight ends here who are pretty juicy. Mark Andrews, Njoku, Kelsey, and Tyler Warren. And, at this point, does Mark Andrews play a full 17? I do like Mark Andrews quite a bit. I think he will have a good year. But I think I'm going to take the rookie, gentlemen. I think I'm going to take Tyler Warren, and I'm going to shoot for that upside. I like Tyler Warren a lot. I think the Colts are not going to be great, and I think there's an opportunity for Tyler Warren to really showcase his athleticism in this offense.
I almost took Warren over Ingram. I think he's going to be that good.
I do too. I'm really high on Warren this year.
Good player, great player, and I think the Bowers comps from like Bowers' rookie season last year is a little bit overblown.
Yes,
I don't know if he's the same type of player, but I mean, he could be the number 1 receiver week 1 on this Colts offense. So I like the upside there. I think this is an auto pick for me. Like Jordan Addison is by far the best player in my eyes on the board. And so I'm just going to grab him, my first receiver off the bench. So I don't even have to worry about the suspension. I think that's a great value right there.
Smart.
Best. And after that, I think the receivers are very, very bleak after this, in my opinion, when it comes to upside.
Okay, that's a good too.
Maybe.
You like your pick here, Scotty?
Yeah, I
love all my picks. I hate this pick.
Yeah, I love
That's
all
the
my
lack
picks
of
here.
nicotine talking.
That's true.
He's on edge.
I am just generally sad.
Son of a bitch. Calm down, little tyke.
All right. I'll calm down. taking another risk. I'm sticking with
like
the risk.
this.
Well, and here's the thing about Etienne is it's post hype. Like people see what he actually is now, but he's got a very real chance to lead this backfield. He's got a very real chance to be a part of an offense that a lot of people think is going to be quite a bit better and it's going to score some touchdowns. And he's the PPR back in the backfield. So I think ultimately it's not super crazy of a pick, and maybe he's going to pan out.
No, he was kind of somebody I was looking at if I was looking for another running back, and I contemplated him instead of Warren. I do think, the rocket ship has come back to earth on ETN just a little bit, but given where we're at in the draft and the opportunity to land a potential RB1 for that team, I don't hate that pick at all. And now we wait on Yeti. So has anybody seen any good movies?
I was going to say, Yeti's team is kind of coming together. Like, he started off no running backs in the first 3 rounds, but then he snags Hampton, Connor, and Pacheco. I think that's honestly a pretty good running back room, especially when you have Puka and Neighbors, and then you follow up with McMillan and Judy, and he has the elite tight end with Kittle. So I really like his team. I think he's very balanced throughout. Think he can probably go with whatever position he wants here. I mean, he could go with a quarterback. Right now, there's only 3 of us that don't have quarterbacks, with me, Yeti, and Joel. So
same with tight ends.
Same with tight ends. There's only 3 also, only like 2 to 3 teams that don't have a tight end. So I think we could start to see some of these tight ends or quarterbacks fall just because with how deep these rosters are and how many guys you have to start. I think a lot of people are going to want to pick running backs and receivers over doubling up on like a quarterback or a tight end here.
Adam says take Bo Nix.
He did not. He took Khalil Shakir, the maybe question mark wide receiver 2 or 3 or 1 or whoever wants to decide they want to play for the Bills that week. So once again, you're shooting for upside. I don't hate that pick.
I don't mind Shakir. He caught 92 passes last year. I think he's going to catch maybe a few more touchdowns. I think he only had 2 or 3 of them. So he has some upside for sure.
Yeah,
I like him a lot.
And now we wait on Joel.
Khalil Shakir for PPR for sure.
I'm drafting two leagues right now.
There was a lot of talk that the Bills could even maybe trade for a receiver. A lot of those talks kind of got shot down. So I think it's pretty safe with him fresh off the extension to kind of assume that he is going to probably be the top receiver. Now, there has been some hype around Keon Coleman in Bills camp. And me personally, like when I scouted him last year, I thought he was awful personally. Like I did not think he was a good receiver. Was not very high on him, but there has been.
Do you think he's going to see some progression in year 2?
I didn't think so, but now everyone's saying he will. And I honestly, I think that Josh Palmer is the better outside receiver that could produce more this season. And I'm not saying Josh Palmer is going to be anything special. I'm just saying, like, I think between him and Coleman, I think I like Palmer more, honestly.
Why can't they both do it?
I don't know. I just don't think either of them are talented enough to both be like super fantasy relevant guys. Like we just.
I don't expect Allen to spread the. I don't expect Allen to go to only one guy. And also, we're this late in the draft. It's not like the cost of either of them is very high.
No. I think you're at the range of where Coleman's, going to be one of these next receivers off the board. I think it's a fine pick for the upside. Obviously, he's a first round, or not first, but early second rounder last year. He's on a great offense. So I think you're buying into the hype. But I think if, at least looking at all of us right now, if you have the eye test, can anyone genuinely say that they've been impressed with Keon Coleman, whether it's college or his rookie season?
Nope.
I can't argue that because
that's where for me it's like you can read into the media hype as much as you want and look into what the beat reporters are saying and how they're looking in practice, but I feel like the eye test is going to be the final determinant, and most people who know football are gonna have that. So
we talk about this on our show. You kind of know really quickly if a guy's a guy or not. Very rarely see just show up out of nowhere. But what's funny is on that offense, Josh Allen was one of those players because at first it was he might be a mid guy, but then all of a sudden broke out. So it's possible, but highly unlikely. But I agree with you 100% on the eye test of Keon Coleman because I just don't see it. But it's just the opportunity he has.
Adam does bring up a really good point here. The blatant disrespect that we did to both Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Wait until round 9 to draft him on his engagement day. So I think Adam has a really great point here. There are Swifties at the door. RJ took Mark Andrews. So really, I think there's only one team that does not have a tight end right now, being you, Charlie. while we wait for RJ's second pick, how are you feeling about not having a tight end on the board?
I honestly kind of thought I was going to get Mark Andrews. I was texting RJ right now, and I'm like, RJ, we got the perfect opportunity. We can both just wait on tight end.
It sounds like collusion.
Yeah,
we're colluding.
There's 8 people took tight end. I wanted Mark Andrews to get back to me. I might have stabbed RJ in the back on that one and taken Mark Andrews, but now I'm just gonna chill. I'm just gonna chill.
I shouldn't have asked you. Now I'm just upset. You're over here colluding.
Yeah, pretty much.
Crazy.
How are we feeling though? Because
Kyle Pitts is still available. I just want to throw that out there.
Kyle Pitts could be a huge pick for RJ to double up on tight end. But RJ, after not going any receivers, how are we feeling about his team?
Crickets.
About Kyle Pitts?
No, about RJ's team. After
I think it's terrible. I think he's cheated his way to where he's at because clearly he has no integrity.
Right. Egbuka was honestly like a great selection because I'd rather have that at wide receiver 3 than Debo. And so his wide receivers are definitely looking really weak. But if his running backs and quarterbacks combine for like 60, 70 points, I mean, could be crazy.
I'm going to change the draft time here to 1 minute now that we're in these later rounds because we got to pick this thing up just a little bit or we're going to be here till midnight.
Let's get moving, Brainiac.
Yeah. No, I really like RJ's team. I mean, I think he bounced back pretty well here. And he goes with Colston Loveland there too, which I don't mind. I think he just
Charlie should take Loveland and then he takes
honestly,
my God. Yeah, he was cute.
You can
he was
play
definitely
tight end with the flex. So I mean, tight ends still have value for the lineup.
Kyle Pitts or bust.
Kyle Pitts, no matter what. Cooper Kupp goes off the board by Joel. Yeti takes Jordan Mason, and now Scotty, you have taken Jaden Reed, MK.
Okay. Well, it is a little crazy that, I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about Joe Mixon, but I mean, he has fallen like crazy now to this point, and I don't think I'm going to be the one to take him, even though the upside is 100%.
There's a lot of hype.
He's out the first 4, so
I might be the guy to take him because, I mean, if
you have your running backs, and he's out the first 4, so you can wait.
Yeah, but I think instead I'm going to take more of a safe play with this pick, but I think the upside is there where maybe Kenneth Walker gets traded mid-season, and I have 2 starting running back.
Nice pick.
So I think that's the hope there. A lot of people are going to think that's only just a handcuff pick, but I truly do think that with how bad the Seahawks I think will be this year, and Walker being in a contract year, you have Charbonnet who's a proven back. I think that there's no reason you don't flip Walker instead of having to re-sign him, where they can go use that money elsewhere. So you can go flip into a team like Dallas, maybe Chicago, maybe another team that's in the mix for a running back that has an injury, and they can get a day 2 pick for him mid-season. So, and I'm talking about Kenneth Walker, obviously. So I think Charbonnet is a really good upside pick here.
Okay, I've taken Javonte Williams, starting running back for the Cowboys, and Brian Robinson goes to Jake, bringing you on the clock, Charlie.
Yeah, I am on the clock. Juwan Jennings.
You said that so just, I don't even know.
I think that's the right. I think I'm just going to sit on tight end. I'm the only one that doesn't have one. So if you
Cowboys backfield, SlapDawg, how are we feeling about it?
Not excited about it, but given where we're at in the draft, he's a starting running back at this point in time. Obviously, Jaden Blue is a potential maybe option, but he's a smaller back. Javonte's on a 1-year deal with the Cowboys. Not thrilled about the pick, but he is a starting running back, and that's kind of why I took him.
It's a great value right there, Alan. I mean, he could come back in 6 weeks and
Chris Godwin was the other guy I was looking at, and for me, I really wanted to make sure I had another running back on the dock. And then now you have taken both J.K. Dobbins and Joshua Downs.
Josh Downs.
I love Josh Downs. He had top 15 upside at one point last season when Flacco was playing, where he was a top 15 guy. I think at this point in the draft, it's a big upside play. And then Dobbins is starting running back in Denver right now, and he played well last season in L.A. under Harbaugh. So I think he still has some gas left in the tank, and I like Peyton's ability to run 2 running back sets.
Okay, Alan, you finally took Joe Mixon. I was really just praying he was gonna.
Yeah, that could be a huge steal right there.
I had to. I wanted Godwin, but then Mixon. Obviously, I didn't know what But with the Dobbins pick, that sealed it. I had to take Mixon, even though he's out. I need to do something for later in the year.
You took both guys that might not even play at all this year.
Yeah, Gabe, I love the Dobbins pick though. I mean, I'm pretty high.
They're on the bench
at this price. Good team. I mean, RJ Harvey could be good, but I mean, Dobbins should see a lot of the goal line work, which I feel like could be valuable in this offense with a great offensive line.
Yeah, weren't we just shitting on Keon Coleman?
Yeah, I was debating between Pittman and Coleman, and I was like, Pittman probably in PPR, and I like Pittman more. But then I looked at my team, and I was like, let's take some upside for some weeks. So,
I think Pittman has some upside, honestly.
Wow, yeah, the running backs are drying up. The real question is, who's going to take JCM? That's the real question here. How early is he going to go in this draft?
I would have taken him over a lot of these guys that have gone already.
Thinking about him. So for me, it actually is between JCM, aka Bill, or Jaden Higgins. I actually like quite a bit here. Just given the fact that the wide receivers are kind of starting to dry up a little bit. I think I'm just gonna. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna take a shot on the rookie. I'll take Jaden Higgins.
It's not a bad pick right there. I mean, Higgins, they took him a lot higher than he was originally supposed to go, and it's a good offense. My only worry with it is that Christian Kirk is going to be the starter as reported right now. But I think the upside's there. At this pick right here, I mean, there's a bunch of shit on the board right now. There's not really anyone good that I like. I'm thinking about going another tight end just because you can play them in the flex. But I don't honestly like the tight ends either. So I'm going to go with a receiver that I'm pretty high on the offense as a whole. He'll be the receiver too. Maybe he misses a few weeks, but
Rashid Shaheed.
Darnell Mooney is a good pick. Had a good season last year, 1,000 yards. And so I can't see any reason why it'll decrease this year with Penix at the helm. I think the value's there.
Yeah, you took that one right out from under me.
What'd you say?
You stole it from Scotty, but SlapDawg missed the call out. He was thinking it was going to be your boy Rashid Shaheed. Why wasn't it?
He said good offense. That was in jest. The Saints are not a good offense, so I knew as soon as he said good offense, it was not Rashid Shaheed.
Yeah, at this point, we got a lot of shit on the board. I don't know. Dart throw. Let's do it.
Oh.
I don't
gentlemen, it's time to start throwing some darts, gentlemen. This is
really drafting shit
where you got to get your dart throwing skills up because this is where you can win and lose the draft if we're being honest.
Baby. So it's time.
Yep. Got to be a lot of gross names that are going in these next couple rounds, but we're all here for it, luckily.
Or not luckily.
Yeah. Hopefully, anyone who's tuned in with us right now had a good work day, enjoying their Tuesday night with us drafting a team, and hopefully you guys are all doing your drafts. Definitely follow all of our advice because we know a lot about football over here. So
much.
He loves Luther Burden. He's buying into the Amon-Ra St. Brown hype of what Luther could be in a Ben Johnson offense.
Yeah, he's eating it.
Oh, he could be nothing this year, but he also could.
He could be everything.
He could be everything.
Nothing.
Also,
he could. It is
all or nothing.
We're talking about dart throws. I don't hate it at this point.
No, but who's been looking good for the Bears is Olamide Zaccheaus has been actually looking, and it sounds stupid because he's just like this random receiver, but he in practice has been looking good, and he made a lot of plays in the preseason game, both games in week 2 against the Bills and week 3 against the Chiefs. He had some pretty important plays with the first team offense in both games.
Well, something we didn't really highlight is if you look at RJ's team currently, we said that he drafted 3 running backs in the first 4 rounds. He might have actually drafted 4 running backs because DJ Moore was lined up and playing running back a little bit in practice just the other day. So who knows what's going to happen there. Joel took Jared Goff, and then JCM, Bill is off the board by RJ, followed by Xavier Legette. So we finally have seen Bill find a home.
Yeah, that's a pretty solid pick right there. I mean, I think with Bill, it's another similar situation with Burden where he could be nothing and he also could be everything. Because if he is if he is getting a lot of the touches in that offense, then he is so valuable.
Yeah.
But I think a guy that hasn't been drafted yet, Austin Eckler, could be a definite value in draft.
I was just gonna say I kind of like Austin Eckler for where he's going because even if he's not the true 3-down back, he's still going to be involved in that offense, and that barring injury, I think we'll have some viable fantasy output.
Yeah, and I think we're also talking, PPR leagues, Austin Eckler, that's going to bring you a lot of value, where he could give you, maybe only gets 3 to 4 carries, but he could also bring you 4 to 5 catches, and maybe he sneaks into the end zone. And I think that there's a lot more safety than guy with that type of player than you're looking at some of the other guys in this range, like Jaden Blue or like Nick Chubb, who might be completely irrelevant players this year, where, Eckler, I think, is pretty much guaranteed some type of role in this offense.
I agree with that. Cam Scattaboo went off the board from Joel. Brandon Ayuk has been drafted by Yeti. So, Scotty, you're on the clock, buddy.
Well, I was really thinking hard about Nick Chubb, but then I just heard Ken talk so much shit about it.
I don't hate the Nick Chubb. I mean, he's going to be a starting running back at least for a little bit.
The truth is that Nick Chubb does have a ton of upside. Like, nobody can deny it that Nick Chubb is, when he was at the top of his game, one of the best running backs in the league. I don't think there's any doubt that he could come in and carve out a role for himself in this offense. The question is he the same? And we'll have to wait and find out. But that's what this late in the draft is for, is taking these dart throws.
His training camp reports are sad to look at. They basically say, like, he can't cut, he can't move. Like, he has no.
Yeah, did you see what happened to his leg, Gabe?
I did. I'm
have some remorse.
Been there, done that. I don't wish that upon anybody. Pretty terrible.
Braylon Allen, potential starting running back for the Jets.
I think he's going to be involved, and I think that, again, this is another play similar to Charbonnet, where there's a really solid chance of my eyes that Breece Hall is dealt mid-season and that they roll with Braylon Allen. And so I think this is just another pure upside pick. If Hall is on the team, I don't think Allen hasn't really much value, but I think that there is upside because the Jets team is going to run the ball, and they did add Olu Fashanu in 2024, and they added Armand Membu this year as well. So we know it's going to be a pretty solid rushing attack. So if you can get the starting guy, I feel like that is pretty valuable.
Good pick, Slap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I took Eckler here. I mean, we covered him, so I don't think I need to give a lot of synopsis on this, and we'll wait, and I'll do some filler here until Jake makes his pick. But Austin Eckler is going to be catching the ball. I think he's going to be involved in this offense. And Jake has taken Trey Harris, and now it is to you, Charles.
Yeah, that was a good pick with Eckler. I really wanted him. He would pair well with the rookies, PPR. Is it time to take a tight end?
I think you can probably just wait.
Well, Gabe might take the one that I want.
Is it Kyle Pitts no matter what?
It might end up having to be Kyle Pitts.
Just do it.
Sure. What a great value.
Do it.
Honestly, I know we're jesting about Kyle Pitts 10 rounds ago. I mean, if we're really thinking that Michael Penix Jr. could be something, like, do we see a resurgence? I guess not from you, because you took Bashal Tootin.
I was going to take him.
Toot and scoot, baby. Rashid Shaheed goes off the board by Allen, and now, Gabe, you are on the clock.
Yeah, I might just, reach for some of my guys. I don't even know. I like Palmer's upside for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to take him.
Yeah, nice pick.
And then I'm going to take Tank Bigsby just on the off chance that, because he was actually the most efficient guy last season on the ground. So who knows if Bigsby has a bigger role in Jacksonville.
Yeah, definitely a good pick right there. I think Palmer's a good upside pick for your team right there, and good offense. So might as well buy into it this late in the draft.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Alan, what we thinking?
What are you
here?
thinking?
I don't know. I don't even know what I'm thinking. I don't even know what I'm doing.
Draft Johnny Smith. Get it over with. Dalton Kincaid.
Okay.
You're not a Kyle Pitts believer? Are you serious?
No, not right now. Daddy's working.
Charlie, what are you going to do?
Man, I'm really confused.
About fantasy or just life?
Both probably. Pretty young. I was hyping up Spears earlier, but that I next to his name makes him really not enticing to click.
I think that I is saying
intelligent. Do it.
I should draft you.
Immense value.
I think Charlie's questioning his decisions right now because he's sitting on the clock right now with Bo Nix available, and he could have had him.
Oh, I thought he was going to do it right there.
Third.
And he took Njoku.
I thought he was going to do
whatever. I think that's one of the
tight ends or something. 2 minutes asks us.
No, we have to wait. I need to take advantage of the ADP that I was given for this roster.
Oh, gentlemen, if we could pause the draft here for just a moment and do a little golf clap. Kyle Pitts.
He sniped me.
He found a home. Sorry, Scotty. You have been knifed.
Waiting.
I hate to see it. I'm going to take Keenan Allen here. I think he's a wide receiver that is significantly fallen. I understand why, but I think he has a potential to find some success with his former and now current quarterback in Justin Herbert.
Yep, I'm going to go here. I already have a player on this team. I'm going to go with my guy, Brock Purdy here. Just take my quarterback. I could keep waiting. I'm sure I could get him at my next pick, but I like my depth around the horn right now. I don't think I needed to really go a different position. I might as well just get the quarterback that I want here, and I'm gonna snag Purdy right here.
You need a quarterback. I think it makes sense given where we're at in ADP. So get your guy.
Yep, and I pair him up with Ricky Pearsall, which I like as well. And like I said, he's my favorite quarterback. So I think it just I think there's other guys on the board. Maybe you go with Justin Herbert, Kyler Murray. Oh, Nix is still sitting there too, but I think Purdy has just much upside as any of those guys. Gabe, who's a guy that you're targeting kind of late at the receiver position? I don't want to make you spoil your draft.
Yeah, I don't know. I think after I make my next pick, I think I'll give you some guys that I really like. But there's one guy I really love to fall to me here. That I really like.
You said that you've done a couple redraft leagues in the past few days. So what's your what have you seen as the best strategy so far in redraft to kind of in terms of positional settings?
Like how about earlier, where you were taking advantage of guys like Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, as well as Trey McBride and Brock Bowers. The idea of going for guys who give you a significant positional advantage, I think there's a lot to be said for guys like that. And stuff like this, I'm a big proponent of actually, Kahan, the way you drafted, of waiting on that quarterback and really stocking up on the skilled positions and adding some depth. When there's a one quarterback league, I think are the two biggest things that I'm looking for when I'm drafting my teams.
Oh, there we go, RJ. ILL, baby. Pat Bryant. Nice pick.
You like the Pat Bryant pick? Charlie, what do you think about the Broncos receiver? I guess there's pretty much 4 guys in it at this point now that Vele is out of the picture. How do you see the snap shares working out?
Yeah, I'm pretty high exposed, at least to all of them on the best ball front, particularly because I think they all just bring crazy weekly high upside, but we don't know where it's going to come, or when it's going to come during the season. I think Sutton is going to be in store for his best season yet. Honestly, there's no reason why I wouldn't think he's going to have his best season yet. The way he's developing this relationship with Bo Nix, I'm really excited for how many touchdowns that he can score. So you might see some weekly consistency with him. Marvin Mims, we don't even know if he's going to play 40% of snaps or 80% of the snaps. So if he falls somewhere in the middle, that's going to be a pretty risky pick. But obviously he could go off for 2 touchdowns that are 60 yards each in a game. So I think he might have some upside, but Pat Bryant, that selection there by RJ, really has the opportunity to hit the consistent PPR ceiling of being that slot wide receiver for the Broncos now that Vele is gone. So him and Sutton could end up being the 2 guys that you see in your lineups.
Yeah, I feel like that's why, me, myself, Gabe's high on him too. I know you are. Yep. Evan Ingram, I feel like, is a good option just because they don't have that proven slot receiver in Denver. So if you're looking at the guy who's going to be the reception hog over the middle of the field, I think that, maybe one of these receivers, becomes the top option there. But I think Ingram's such a safe pick at getting those receptions over the middle of the field.
Why did you guys all decide that the 13th and 14th round was going to be when you take your backup tight ends?
I was really hoping Tucker Kraft was going to land.
That's a great pick right there. That's a great pick by Jake.
Yeah,
Christian Kirk is a very high, that is a good pick in my eyes.
No, and I was debating between him or Ertz. I was afraid that the trend of taking your backup tight ends was going to continue. And with me having Tyler Warren, I do think he's going to be great, but I wanted to make sure I had somebody else in the bank. So I took Ertz, but I like that Kirk. Ollie Gordon off the clock with Charlie, and now Alan, you are on the clock.
Sorry, I'm drafting 2 leagues at the moment. Let me go back to ours.
What are you doing, man?
Honestly, it's tripping me up because I'm seeing players on one list and I'm like, oh shit, I get drafted. No, that's not this league.
I mean, Alan, you've been getting clowned by the comments a little bit about your team. I won't lie, I don't like your team much either.
Good thing nobody was fucking asking you.
But hey, you could turn around with this pick right here. You could really turn around.
He stopped talking.
Ollie Gordon would have.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, your team fucking sucks.
Yeah,
just dead air.
It's just missing a running back.
Oh my god.
5 seconds.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing.
I wonder who Twitter is gonna say has the worst team.
So my biggest guy here is Demario Douglas. I love Demario Douglas in New England. Him playing in the slot, similar to guys like Jacoby Myers, Denny Amendola, so on and so forth, Julian Edelman. I really believe in Drake May, which means Douglas could just be a product of that. And then, can you ask me? I like Williams, Thorne, and Tillman all here. I think those are also guys with upside, but I do want to take my second tight end. So I'm going to take Likely. I think Likely is very talented in Baltimore, and Andrews has regressed a ton. And that, Charlie doesn't like that pick. He loves Mark Andrews for whatever reason, but
no, Likely's a good pick. It's just like he's injured, and it's like you could get him off the waiver wire after he's going to be out for like 6 weeks or something.
If it makes you feel better, I was going to draft him next. So I don't know if that means it's a good pick or not, but it wouldn't have been on the waiver wire.
Just like
a tight end that I really like this year in the later rounds, I think 15 to 22 is Brenton Strange. I really do like him. I think he's going to be good. I like the Jags offense. There's been a lot of good coach speak about him, and he's going to be in that role where if the Jags offense does take off a little bit, he could catch a lot of touchdowns. So I think for anyone listening out there, if you need a good backup tight end with some upside, I think Brenton Strange is a really good option in the late teens, early 20s for tight ends.
I'm listening, Kahan.
Missed on a guy.
You what?
I missed on a guy. There was someone I talked about a decent bit in a video that I didn't take that because I didn't look.
Hey, Manor goes Charlie.
I think I'm going to take the guy Cam was talking about, but there's some other high upside running backs. And I know I'm not taking a quarterback. I mean, we'll mess around with the waiver wire for that. It's a 10-man league. I'm just kind of wondering if I can mess around with the waiver wire for my tight end. Because I'm confident in Njoku, like really confident while Joe Flacco's starting. But as soon as he's not starting, I'm going to need to pick up another tight end. And I'm just not sure if I want to do it in this draft or during the actual season. Because I'm looking at a guy like, Samson and Algier. They just might have like much higher upside. Huh. Can you going to go, are you going to take Strange? I'll take Samson.
We'll have to see on my pick next.
You already have a backup.
We will have to see.
You're not taking 3 tight ends.
Yeah, I don't think I will here. But hey, trade value. You can always trade for him from me if you'd like.
I think I'm the only one without 2, and Scotty. Scotty, we're in this together. You want to collude real quick?
Yeah, let's collude.
Ramondre.
That's a pretty good pick, honestly. At this point in the draft,
Mm-hmm.
like he could get a lot of touches in New England, hypothetically.
Yeah, a lot of fumbles too.
He could give the defense a lot of touches.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like this draft is just us waiting for these crappy players that we all don't like to get drafted so we can just shit on them.
That's kind of about exactly what it is.
Charlie Sampson was that guy for me, though. I should have taken him at my spot. I talked about him.
Samson honestly fell really far. I think everyone just kind of forgot about him. That's a great pick right there.
Yeah,
I'm just not too sure. I like Jerome Ford. Like, I think who SlapDawg just takes. I mean, let's talk about this battle between Jerome Ford and Dylan Sampson. I feel like Ford offers the PPR upside.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the overarching question is what happens with Judkins, and that's the the looming. That's why all these guys are so low, is because we don't, much like the quarterback situation for the Browns over this entire offseason, it's like, what is going to happen here? Obviously, Sampson and Judkins are probably the future. That's why the Browns drafted 2 running backs. But at this point in time, Judkins still hasn't signed his contract. And that, I think, is why Sampson is a great value, as well as Jerome Ford. Is they're probably both going to be using this offense.
Yep, I think, just taking a shot at either Ford or Sampson, and again, round 15, if you have one of them being the starting running back, there's going to be value there regardless of how bad the team is. Like, volume is king at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. But I went with a little bit of a player take here with Jalen Coker. I mean, I reached on him like crazy here, but I just don't think there's anyone up right now that I'm really excited about. I am banking on Adam Thielen getting traded, because I think if Adam Thielen gets traded, then I do think that Coker genuinely does have a lot of upside being the slot receiver in this offense where Bryce Young loves the slot. And Coker's had a really good camp, really good preseason, came out last year towards the end of the season. He is, in my opinion, my biggest sleeper this year to get in best ball drafts late. I think if Thielen stays, it'll be tough to get snaps over him in the slot. But obviously, Thielen's 34 years old. He could also easily go down and miss a couple weeks. So I think that Coker's really good value.
Louis says Sampson is a great pick, Charlie. I disagree as a Jerome Ford owner, but thank you for your input. Appreciate it.
I like the Cedric Tillman pick, though, from Scotty. I think that offers, like, the way that he came out at the end of the season, it seems to me like there's no reason why Tillman should be going this late when he's pretty much guaranteed a starting wide receiver role in Cleveland. It's just like, who's going to be their quarterback? Well, Joe Flacco's a pretty damn good fantasy quarterback.
That's what I was going to say. As long as Joe Flacco's the guy, I'm relatively comfortable taking that shot, and I guess we'll have to see what happens. But
I like
Yeti got Kyler Murray in the 15th round as his quarterback one. I mean, that's just value at the end of the day. Kyler could easily be,
top pretty
relevant. I mean, yeah.
Potentially. I mean,
what do you think his ceiling is, though? Like, can he be top 5?
No, I don't think he'll ever be that. He's too small. He can't see over his offensive line. Kyler Murray is what he is. As a Cardinals fan, it drives me nuts. I'm like ready to be done with the Kyler Murray era because I'm tired of his attitude. And you and I had talked about this on our show, MK. Mm-hmm. Some of the problems that I have with Kyler Murray is we jest about how small and tiny he is, but that's a legitimate problem. Kyler Murray thrives when he's outside the pocket. And if you watch Cardinals football, which probably not a lot of people do, we didn't do that a lot last year. And the play action was not prevalent, and that was a really cause for concern. The offense in one drive would look amazing, and the next drive it would look terrible. And there was no consistency. I don't believe in Drew Petzing as an offensive coordinator, but you can't argue with the rushing upside that Kyler Murray brings for fantasy football. So I think to get him in the 15th round, that's a great place to get him. And I think that the upside is there to potentially finish as a top 10. I don't think he will, but I think that if we see some progression from this offense, he could.
I am so in on Kyler Murray this year. I mean, if I didn't have Lamar, Kyler Murray would have been on my team already. I'll run through with you his 6 years of his career so far and where he finished in PPR formats. It's his rookie year, he finished quarterback 6, second year, quarterback 3, then quarterback 10 in 14 games. The first 2 years were 16 games. Then quarterback 19 in 11 games, quarterback 27 in 8 games, and then back to quarterback 10 last year in 17 games. So I'm pretty damn excited. I think top 10 is his floor for Kyler Murray. Legitimately, I think that's his floor, and I think his upside is top 5.
As a Cardinals fan, I hope you're right. But I just, there are still some concerns, and it's a valid argument. I'm not going to sit here and say it's
not.
They
might not win games, like their defense.
But I would say his floor is much lower.
Okay.
I think quarterback 14, I would feel comfortable saying is like more of a.
I just don't see how he could finish that low with his rushing upside and the way that he's talking about wanting to run more, wanting to emulate more of Lamar's style of game. It just but Kyler really excites me this year. Yeah.
He's not Lamar. He's
a tiny
little Lego version of Lamar.
But he's a good
fragile.
Runner. He's good.
He is a good runner. He is a good runner. CJ Stroud.
Wow. Bo Nix is just still sitting here on the board.
Bo Nix was definitely who I was going to take, but I wanted to keep my stacks available for me if Joe Burrow ends up being made of glass again like he has so many times in his career.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Joel going with 3 quarterbacks here just completely sniped me on Prescott, which is who I wanted with Ferguson and Lamb. But I mean, I just think I have to go with Bo Nix here. Like that's just a crazy value in round 16. So I'm going with Bo Nix. I wanted to go
really
Caleb
hoping
so bad. Like you got to take Caleb here. I think
that's
Caleb
my other quarterback, and that's who I'm going to take for the upside play of what he could be. I wanted Bo Nix. You hose me.
You hose me.
Massive quarterback run here.
I get why Kahan took Bo Nix with Brock Purdy, but like when you have Jaden Daniels and Jalen Hurts, how many weeks are you really going to be starting Caleb and Herbert when you can take a guy that has a little bit more upside at the end of the draft?
Say that again.
Like you're saying, Kahan has Brock Purdy, so he might need Bo Nix. When you have Daniels and Hurts already on your
I don't have Hurts. I just have Daniels.
No, I know, but so the next pick was Herbert too, and he already has Hurts. I'm just talking about both of these selections, Caleb and Herbert.
I think Caleb offers rushing upside.
But how many weeks do you start him is what I'm asking. You know?
Well, I would. At this point, we're not starting any of our quarterback twos. We're banking off, is our quarterback going to get injured? That's why we took all the
though. Kahan will start Bo Nix over Brock Purdy in a few. You're just repeating my point.
So you're saying like, why didn't he not take?
You got 5 seconds. Okay, I was gonna say. I was like, you gotta miss your.
That is a really interesting proposition. I am kind of curious as to. I thought you were saying like, why did I take Caleb? And I was like, well, because he's got upside.
That's exactly what I'm saying. You have Jaden Daniels. Why would you take Caleb if you're gonna start? Like, I understand why Kahan's taking a quarterback there. I don't understand why you and Jake is taking Herbert.
69.
Paul. Looking at his picture of his sleeper account. I can't even tell what it is. Somebody with a mustache.
Because I think that it was really a safety pick in the event that Jaden Daniels does get hurt. Okay. That's why I took that pick. And if Williams is the savior of the Bears organization, that's trade value for me. So, I mean, if I have 2 top 5 quarterbacks or 2 top 10s, Jaden, we can confidently say that. We can't with Caleb at this moment. In the event that he is, somebody might come knocking on the door and be interested in a potential trade. So with us being at the end of the draft, I'm looking at the upside plays, and for me, it was just like a glaring hole or a glaring like star of like, okay, if this guy is what the Bears need him to be, I should probably just take him. And if he rides my bench all year because I do have Jaden Daniels, I'm fine with that too. But I think that, if he is what he could be, then I might have a trade.
Yeah. Fair. I'm with Hunt. I do agree with Hunt. I don't know. I kind of in the middle of both you, but I would say getting a QB here, there's not a lot of other great options. So you can go with a value play. If Caleb ends up being a top 10 quarterback, that's definitely could be trade value to anyone whose top quarterback goes down. So
yeah.
No, I mean, in a 10-team league, there's always going to be QBs on the waiver wire. I mean, you've got Love, you've got McCarthy, you've got Cam Ward, Trevor Lawrence, Michael Penix.
But you don't know if those guys are going to be elite or not. Like at the end of the day, you could have Hunter could go ahead. Caleb could be top. Let's say he's the 8th best quarterback. Hunter could go ahead and roll with Caleb and then go trade Daniels for another elite asset because somebody else is quarterback.
Okay, you could trade. I could see trading Daniels potentially, but that's if both of them are elite, and it's like you're just using
value's value. Value's value.
But quarterbacks are definitely worth less.
At this point in the draft, though, you can't really blame anybody for any pick. I don't think. I mean, it's every pick is a dart throw.
Yep. I'm curious, Gabe. Just looking at the draft here, do you regret at all taking Baker that high, seeing all these quarterbacks that are, I would say Baker's obviously better, but I feel like they're kind of similar in tier. Do you regret at all taking Baker that high?
A little bit. I'm not because of Patrick Mahomes. I watched Patrick Mahomes as a fantasy quarterback last year be worse than half the guys who were drafted in these past rounds. But I've been pretty high on Baker because he was like the QB5 last year. And I don't know, there's something about him, just him being like the energy that he brings and some of the upside that he has, where I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to take Baker here and not really think about it. But yeah, I probably could have waited a little bit longer and got another skilled player. But that's why I don't really love the 101, because I get a little concerned that like if I have to wait, 20 picks for my next guy, it becomes a little tough. Where you're like, whatever, I'm just going to take him because I don't know, like, it's hard to really guess like who's going in between when you have to wait so long in between your pick.
Yeah, no, I mean, at the end of the day, it's if Baker can return the same value that he gave last season, then it looks like a good pick because you probably wouldn't have gotten Baker on the way back. So you had to take him there if you wanted him there.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think it's bad. You pair him up with Bucky Irving, so you get the Bucks stack, and if the Bucks offense is as good as it was last year, then your team's looking really good with the rest of surrounding pieces. I mean, you're basically just investing in the Bucks, and if the Bucks and Bengals are both great offense, again, your team's most likely going to be a top 4 team. I'd be pretty surprised if it wasn't. So I feel like that's a good investment because both those offenses look pretty good right now.
Yes, sir.
But we finally have made it to the last round of this draft. The last 5 to 6 rounds have definitely gone by a lot quicker. But as we get through this last round, how's everybody feeling about their teams? Scotty, you start us off. How are you feeling about your team?
Oh, I love it. High risk, high reward. This is how you play fantasy football. Nobody gets a prize for coming in, 7th. So you might as well just send it, and I'm either gonna win or I'm gonna get fucking smoked. So that's how I like it.
Alan, team review here.
I really like my team. I think there's a lot of touchdowns in those top 7 picks compared to some of the other teams. I think while they built depth, I'm going for points right off the rip.
Yep, you went QB and tight end in the first 7. Definitely a bold strategy, but could definitely pay off. Charlie, how are we feeling?
Tight ends? Who needs them?
Well, you've got 2.
Yeah. I might draft a 3rd right here, too. Darren Waller's looking pretty sexy.
SlapDawg, how are we feeling about the squad?
I fucking hate it. No, I'm just kidding. I actually don't mind my team. I think, I'm banking. I got quite a bit of Commanders players. Granted, some of them are just more later round picks. So as I mentioned at the top of the show, I really am not a huge fan of drafting quarterbacks early because I think there's so much potential for quarterbacks, but I had to take Jaden Daniels. I mean, getting him in the scary stack, I had to do it. So I actually kind of like my team. I feel very balanced, and I have some aging assets, but I also have some players that I think could do very well for me this year. So I'm not
for sure. What are your guys' thoughts on the Amari Cooper situation? Because I just picked him. I totally forgot about him as a player, but he did just get picked up by the Raiders.
I never heard of Amari Cooper before.
It's a 1 year. I don't know. Maybe.
Like, could he be decent? Could he be top 35, 40? Like, is that in the realm of possibilities here?
I don't know. I
don't know.
It's hard to even make an opinion on a Cooper at this point after what we saw last season where he had 1 good game and then they didn't play him for the rest of the year. That doesn't.
So frustrating starting him because everyone got so excited to see that good performance with the Bills, and then he gets 0 points the next week.
1 good game, and then they absolutely just die. Oh, that was my pick. Arroyo. I was going to take Arroyo.
Gabe, how are you feeling about your team to end us off here?
Well, if I had Arroyo, then it would have been pretty awesome. But, and Marks, I was going to take him too. This is really happening. So, starting to feel a little worse now. I don't know who to take on my last pick. I'll just take Dorendo. But I feel pretty good about my team, honestly.
Well, we're going to see, gentlemen, because it is now the end of the draft, and fantasy football begins in just, 9 days. So I'm very excited for it. Very excited to have done this draft. All the Brainiacs that have tuned in, greatly appreciate it. Love the comments. Love you guys interacted with us here. It was a great old time. And MK, thank you for setting this up as the FantasyBrainz connoisseur and running the show here. You said, hey, let's get a fantasy team going for all of the LeatherBrainz team.
Yeah,
so I appreciate you doing this, and I appreciate all you guys jumping on and doing this. I mean, it's to sit here for 2 hours on a live stream and do this is no small feat. So appreciate all you doing this. We'll close with this. Louis Batang says Gabe won the draft.
Yeah, we'll close with that. Let's end it right there.
Louis, you're banned. You're banned from the show.
Louis,
we don't
out.
like you anymore.
Sorry, you were great until the very end. All right, let's get the hell out of here. I love you guys. We
are
out.